it was called the Audi S corners, turn 11, 12. Now they're called the Hans Ernst corners. It's a braking zone, a little lockup, and then immediately swooping back to the left. Like I said, there's only 4 left-hand corners, and then he sets up for the 18 degrees of camber, turn 13. You got to get it right, and then into the area line dike, turn 14, and boom, back onto the straight. He set purple in the first sector, now into the yellow sector and into the pits. So he didn't feel like he could improve. But now we're on board with Cyberlinks Racing's Alexander Nikoshkarov, who's got 2 green sectors. He on the main straight. Let's see if he's able to improve. He puts a yellow sector, which puts him at 5th fastest. He's trying his best as he goes into Tarzan corner and then down into our turn 2 and 3. The top 4 cars are in the pits, and now Hakimi and Kolev come out of the pits, so they're getting ready for their hot laps. There being 10 minutes of qualifying for the Porsches, so we've gotten our first round of hot laps on board with Darkwing Racing, Pavel Shinobrov, number 23. He's got 2 green sectors. He's coming through the banking corners of turn 13, now into the area line dike, turn 14, onto the main straight. Let's see if he is able to improve. Where does he come out at? And it's updated, but it says he's at a 138.482, putting him at P10. And then he pulls off. Must be having some slowdown for his tires, cooling them off. The ambient temperature right now is 15 degrees Celsius, and the track temperature as well, 15. For those of you in the Fahrenheit, that's 59 degrees. This is much cooler than one would expect, and as they rubber in the track, we're going to get higher and higher temperatures. On board with Michael Velasquez. Currently, he is P4. He set a yellow sector, so it's going to be hard for him to improve on that. But now he comes down to the track, 2 yellow sectors. Swinging back to the left on Huntert's 2. And then we have Hakimi coming through area line dike corner. Oh, no, excuse me. He's coming out of the pits. So this is in the first sector. Now he comes down into the banked turn 3. Hugenholtz. Hakimi, who sets our early provisional pole. He's trying his best. He comes around, pulling to the right, and then swooping back to the left. And then jam on the brakes down in the turn. Oh, he tried to hit the apex. Here he goes again. Okay, he set a purple first sector. He could improve by a whole second if he's able to keep this up. Now he's about to go down into the Hans Ernst turns 1 and 2, or formerly known as the Audi S. Swooping, he got it pretty good. Now that's going to set him up for our 18 degrees of banking in turn 13 and turn 14. Down into the area line dike. He's a little wide. He didn't get into the gravel. Oh, sorry, that's turn 13. Now he's down to turn 14. Coming out, he's on the edge. Let's see if he's able to improve his time at 135.5. Across the line, improves by a 10th. Currently, our top drivers is Hakimi, then Dokarev, Buffet, Velasquez, Kolev, Nekoshkov, Zulkarnain, Herbeau, Novar, Puzatikov, Lewang, Geifelin, Shazlajan, Korj, and Chernoborov. Although it looks like he got disqualified. I wonder what was going on with that Darkwing number 23 that got him in trouble. Okay, with 42 seconds left, these are the last opportunities. As long as they can cross that line before it hits zero, they're going to be able to do their time. We're on with Zulkarnain, number 22 with BSR, Blue Steel Racing. He is representing Scorpion Works. Down into the first sector, turns 3 and 4, Hogan Holtz down in the Hunsrang. Down into our banked corner, turn 3, 19 degrees of camber. Now the swooping turns 4 and 5. And then as he comes up the hill, it turns 6, the Slotemaker. And then the swooping right-hander, Shavlak. And as he comes down the hill, okay, the quali session has hit 0. So those that have crossed the line are able to finish their hot lap. Zulkarnain is yellow in the first sector. We'll see how he's able to improve, hopefully, in the second sector. If not, he may not be able to get out of P7. Down into the Hans Ernst turns 1 and 2, this little S corner, shoom, to the right, and then back to the left. The fourth left-hander of the circuit. There are 10 to the right, 4 to the left, down into the 19 degrees of camber turn 13, and then up to the Airy Line Dyke turn 14. He did set green second sector. Let's see as he comes over the bump, down on the straight. Where does he end up? Zulkarnain finishes 8th. Oh, no, excuse me. 7th. So he finishes where he was before. Chalazan is on track behind him, seeing if he was able to improve, but he is also 8th. So here is our top 10. Novar, Herbeau, Shazlajan, Zulkarnain, Nekhoroshkov, Kalef Velasquez, Buffet, Tokarev, and Hakimi. Hakimi is showing that he is the trendsetter. Congratulations to our Porsche Cup. And now we're having our LMP3 preparing for their 10 minutes of quali. In 3 minutes' time, they'll come out on track. With 30 seconds remaining before the LMP3 comes out for qualifying, we've got, just to give you perspective, 262 kilometers per hour in the speed trap. Actually, we had a 264 as our fastest for the Porsche cars. So that comes out to 164 miles per hour in the speed trap. When we get to the LMP3 cars, we're going to see their speed difference. The qualifying has begun for our LMP3 cars. Immediately come out on track. They got 10 minutes to set the fastest time. That is going to come around to 2, maybe 3 push laps if they're able to make it work. We're on board with Matvey Treshev, number 47 from NT Racing. He is a unique one in that a lot of these cars are going to be a part of an organization or a team where they practice together and they get data together. Of course, all points scored are independent for and focused on each car. But MT Racing is himself, and he's got that beautiful pink accent to his aqua livery. All the cars coming out on their outlap, and we're going to see how they can line this up, trying to set together as the track temperature remains at 15 degrees. We've got Iman Danish for BSR off into the gravel. He's rejoined safely. But yes, the ambient temperature and the track temperature remains the same. That's very rare. Usually the track temperature gets warmed up as the tires go, just 15 degrees Celsius, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that they're going to be dealing with a lot of grip loss. Normally during practice session, the temperature was up 20 degrees for ambient and an additional 40 degrees on track. Here we go. Our first on board hot lap, Broskov for Team Phoenix, down into Tarzan corner. He comes in to our Gerlach, and then Hugenholtz are 19 degrees of camber. Very iconic to Zandvoort circuit, having these banked corners. Then the sweeping right and then left. This would be only 4 left-hand turns this whole track, 10 of them being to the right. Slotemaker, and then down into Shevlak as he prepares for the next 2 right-handers. You got Masters, and then turn 9, and then this circuit that is giving him good feedback. He's got purple sectors, and then the bend back to the left, CM.com corner. And now he's got some breathing room as he prepares for the S's coming up. This is the Hans Ertz turn 11, 12. It is a quick braking zone and then sweeping to the left. He now prepares for the last 2 corners on this track, the 18 degrees of banking, turn 13. Let's see where he goes in. He's got nice grip. Now up into turn 14, the Erie Line Dyke corner. He set 2 purple sectors early on. Let's see where he comes out on the start-finish straight. And he has set a 130.234 with a 269 in the speed trap kilometers per hour. So he's 5 miles per hour faster, coming in at 167 miles per hour. And so if I remember correctly, these cars, while they may not necessarily have a huge top end speed advantage compared to the Cup cars, they make up for it in their downforce packages. Smirnoff just comes across the line with a 132.9, putting him at 7th. Max Bunovich for the other car for Team Phoenix. Of course, they practice together, they work together, but in the race, there's no constructor points being shared. Here he is going down into his first sector. Down into his banked turn 3. Coming out of Hugenholtz, swinging right and left to turns 4 and 5. Up the hill to Slotemacher, turn 6. And then making sure he's got the best traction down the Shivlak, turn 7. As he comes down the hill, oh, he's out on the curb. Whoo! Turn 8. And now turn 9. Let's see if he's able to prepare for one of the 4 left-handers cm.com, turn 10. It seems like he's well set up now as he comes down the straight for the S, the kink, Hans Ernst, turn 11 and 12. He's got to hit this 90 degree and set up for the swooping left. And now for the 18 degrees of camber into turn 13 and turn 14. Let's see where he comes in at. He's got good traction. He comes out on the edge. Now set up for the area line dike corner, turn 14. This will all decide he got right in on the inside. He got sparks flying, but let's see where he goes for the final sector. He's purple in the first, yellow, and then purple in the third, going all the way to the top. He is a provisional pole sitter at 129. It's fascinating how Team Phoenix, both cars, have got it figured out. This is looking good, sitting at P1 and P2 provisionally. We're now continue on with Max Bunovich, and now over to Matvey Treshev, who set a green sector, MT Racing. He has a little bit of traction loss as he comes through those corners. There's a little bit of traffic here, and this is where it's tricky. When you've got 12 cars with 4 minutes left, all trying to make sure that you don't go too fast that you catch a slower car, but fast enough as he comes through turn 12. Now he's got to set up for the banked corners, the last two corners of this last sector. Green in the first, yellow in the second. But we've noticed the same thing happen with a provisional pole, that you just have to nail your turn 13 going into area line dike, turn 14 to set you up. If you can get that nice swing out, then you're able to set good. Treshev, which was in P8, comes across the line and remains P8 with 2 yellows. Oof, that is difficult, but he's trying. Ambient temperature is starting to raise by 1 degree. Ooh, Iman Danish is way off the course. He lost it. He's safely going to re-enter. Hopefully there's no traffic that he has to deal with. But then that means he's got to really slow down, prepare for, if with only 3 minutes left, he's going to probably get one more push lap. And if he's able to, maybe 2 in a row. But it's going to be tricky. No surprise here that he's got a yellow second sector with that off. And we have Bunovich in the pits, Steneker in the pits. That's our P1 and P4 provisionally. Danish, who's now P6, he's going to have to hopefully prep up. Now he's in turn 13, setting up for turn 14. If he can get a really good, he's probably going into the pits. Yep, you can tell if they're high on the banking coming out of the final corner, then they're going for it. If they're on the inside, they're going to pit with Matvey Treshev, who is turning into the banked cornering, turn 13. Now prepping for the area line dike turn 14. Green first sector, yellow sector. But if he can be high and grippy, let's see where he goes. Treshev was P8. He remains P8. So we're not seeing the cars improve. It seems like the best timing was when people first came out. Even Boroskov is 2 yellows. Maybe he's just doing his out lap, preparing for a push lap. It's really up to him and his teammate, Bunovich, who has provisional pole, to see where they're going to be. Now, you have to remember that this is double wide when it comes to the start of the race. So whether you get pole position or P2, you're going to be side by side. And then it all depends on where you're going to line each other up, especially with Tarzan having the swooping right-hander. Okay, Bezrukov is starting his push lap. Down into Hugenholtz, the 19 degrees of camber. Now he's got to swoop right and then left through turns 4 and 5. Now we're going to find out as he comes over to Slotemacher. He's going to end his first sector at Schlivak. Let's see turn 7 where he is for the first sector. Now he comes down to the hill. He's yellow in the first sector. Masters turn 8 down into turn 9. It's going to be difficult. If he's already half a second down, how is he going to improve? Actually, it looks like he might be slowing a little bit. He realizes that he wasn't making his split time, so he's trying to set it up. As long as he crosses the line, before it hits 0, he'll be able to get one more push lap. Can he make it to the line in time? He probably should. He's at turns 11 and 12. Now he's just got to make sure he's got the ultimate grip levels as he comes into the banked corners of turn 13 in the final corner. Ari Leindijk turn 14. So let's see. Can he set it up and prep it? He may be the only one to cross the line before hit 0. That is, oh, it is close. Did he actually cross that line before hit 0? It does not look like it from here. That might be it. So that is the end of qualifying. Our top 10 would be Smirnov, Ishenko, Brunin, Huang, Danish, Mkhitaryan, Steneker, Buzrakov, Hazik, and Bunovic. Hazik snuck in there with a P2. We didn't even see his onboards. We got Partse, who's trying to finish his push lap. Partse, who was in ninth, finishes ninth, but he had 3 green sectors with Sim Racing Team. The only car to have fiery red. He will be very easy to spot. But congratulations, Hazik, being able to split Team Phoenix. Here we have Mkhitaryan. Let's see where he goes. Oh, he puts it to P3. He also improved. So Buzrakov was pipped twice and will end up on the second row of the grid, being able to get the optimum tire grip right at the very last. Good job to these drivers. Do we have any more that are preparing for their, or not preparing, but on their flying lap? Okay, we've got Buzrakov, but I believe he didn't cross the line in time. So, yep, he's going to the pit. So here, we've got a couple guys that are trying to end the qualifying, and it looks like here we are, our top 10: Smirnov, Partse, Brunin, Huang, Danish, Steneker, Buzrakov, Mkhitaryan, Hazik, and Bunovic. Congratulations to our LMP drivers. Let's review how our quali into our race will be. This is a 2 hours of racing, 2 classes, our Porsche Cup and our LMP3. LMP3 will lead the line, and then behind them will be the Cup cars, and as they will go around the track, they will have our speed limiters, and then when they get into our starting zone, these 2 white lines on the start finish line, then they'll be able to start racing. And from there, it's just you and the guy beside you. Swooping down to the Tarzan is going to be fascinating. See how that goes. But we got our 5 minutes of our warm up and before we have our race. So we'll be back with you in 5 minutes time. The Grand Endurance Series, today's Grand Racing League, round 1 here at Zandvoort. Here's the starting grid. On pole position, Max Bunovich, Hazik, Mkhitaryan, and Buzrakov. And then for Steneker, Danish, Huang, and Brunin. As you can see, teammates side by side, even though they get their own points individually. Then Partse, Smirnov, Threshev, and Hakimi. Now, Hakimi is top or pole position for the Porsche Cup, and following on side of the grid with him is Tokarev, and then second row is Pefe, Velasquez, and then we go Kolev, Nekhoshrov, Zulkarnain, Herbeau, and Novar. We have 10 different countries represented in this league. Then Puzatikov, Lewin, Gafulin, and Chernoborov. And then should be rounding out the order. Last, we have Korj. And then because of qualification issues, Ishenko, with his LMP3 car, is going to have to start at the very back of the pack. They're going too wide for this formation lap, and when they get to the double white lines, then they can take off their speed limiters and the racing will be on. Track temperature has raised from 15 degrees Celsius to 37 degrees Celsius. That is 59 degrees Fahrenheit to 98 degrees. And so the track is really warmed in. That means there's going to be much higher grip levels, even though the ambient temperature is still 16 degrees Celsius or 60 degrees Fahrenheit, as the Zandvoort circuit is on the edge of the North Sea here in the Netherlands. That nice breeze coming off the coast, but the track has warmed up. The story going into this race is the Team Phoenix are separated by Hazik and Mkhitaryan in between. But depending on what happens as they get ready, let's come out of turn 13. We got our 18 degrees of camber as they come into the area line dike. Turn 14, the speeds will increase. When does the leader decide to go? Being P2 is going to be fascinating because you're on the inside of Tarzan, which is turn 1. And so if you get really good, you're going to have all the cards to play with the extra grip levels. Here we go. The race is about to begin. The cars are ready. You can see here the white line before us. And when they cross it, they're going to be able to take off their speed limiter and blast down that straight, and we are go! Oh, P2 was slow. We've got crash. We've got damage. We've got Bunovich unaffected. Okay, so we've got a C80 or a code 80 has been thrown. This is the equivalent to a virtual safety car in the Formula disciplines due to that hazard that happened on track. Depending on who has damage and who needs to go in the pits, all the cards have a speed limiter. Bunovich will not be able to just run away with it because everyone is on their speed limiter. It looks like all the Porsche cars are bunched up together, but not the LMP cars due to that incident on the straight. Everyone just putzing around, waiting to see what's going to happen. Look at Bunovich. He's got 11-second gap. That is very interesting because then that means that he's going to be able to maintain that gap unless the race director bunches the field back together like well, we don't have safety cars that would come out, but this code 80 has already given our race leader a ginormous gap to the pack because it was P2 that had an error or a mistake on the start, which slowed everyone trying to dodge and take evasive actions. 10 seconds, and then the green flag will be raised or shown. And we are green. We are green flags. The racing has begun. Bunovic has actually let P2 pass him. And so as the cars make their way around, we've got Mkhitaryan, Bunovic, Hazik, Buzrakov, Steneker, Brunin, Wang, Partsy, Smirnov, Ekshenko. We're going down into turn 11 and 12. The Hans Ertz corners. We've got one off into the gravel. How can he respond? Bezrakov is trying to get back on in turn 13 and then down into the camber of Arie Luijendijk's turn 14 as he's trying to get some sort of slipstream. Now, for the LMP3 cars, slipstream is a thing. For the Cup cars, not so much. We're going down into the camber corners. Can anyone put it around the outside? Oh, we do. We've got battling. We got jockeying for position. We've got Bunovic, who's trying to stay in close to the leader, and we've got his teammate Buzrakov, who is trying to attack ahead without giving up any space behind. As they come down into the sweeping turns 4 and 5, we now look up to turn 6 and then down to turn 7. Bunovic was very nice to the field and pretty much allowing that 11-second gap during the C80 to be erased and even allowing Tigran and Mkhitaryan to pass him. Cyberlinks racing the yellow car. And I'm not quite sure what the livery is on Team Phoenix. It looked like a bunch of fishes laid out on, on a desk, but it's got the gray chasing the yellow. He is down on the inside, trying to figure out where he can put pressure as we go into turn 11 and 12. And how you set up for the camber corners turn 13. We have on our graphics still C80, but I will assure you we are still green. We are still green. Down into turn 13's camber and turn 14. It looks like Bunovic, he's trying to line it up. Can he get the slingshot off the slipstream? You see the sparks flying as they come out of that cambered corner. He's not able to make it as close as he would like. He's not going to send it up the inside, so it's just trying to stay as close together. He pulls in through Tarzan. Now they swing through turns 2 and then down into turn 3, the camber 19 degrees, the Hogenholtz corner. Okay, he's looking up, out onto the curb goes Bunovic. Mkhitaryan is trying to make sure that he's got it. The best lap actually is by Pafet, who's down in P2 for the Cup. So we've got our class leaders of Mkhitaryan and Hakimi. Yellows in Sector 1. Someone may have had an off, a little slowing. We're following Tereshev right now in P11, chasing down Nikita Smirnov. The point... he was the one responsible, so he's trying to recover, trying to make it up. He's the one who's trying to pass through the Cup cars. Now, there are no blue flags for a different class, only when you are trying to lap your own class. So if you're an LMP3 and you're coming up to all the Porsche Cup cars, you got to make sure that you aren't getting held in any spot, but you also don't want to lose positions as you try to take the alternative lines. Here we go, back through Arie Luijendijk, turn 14, trying to set it up. It seems that Bunovic is off on the grass. He's off. He went a little wide. He's able to maintain his slipstream, but he is not able to put enough pressure on Mkhitaryan, and instead, Mkhitaryan is keeping cool as a cucumber. Now we go into Sector 1 again. Okay, jumping over to our Porsche Cup, we got the battle for 6. We've got Zulkarnain, followed by Herbeau, then Nekhoroshkov, and then Novar. We see number 22, the gray car, is leading this pack. And then we've got 974, 241, and 19. As we now come down into the Hogenholtz 19 degrees of camber corner. Various lines are being taken, but for most, you just want to make sure that you're getting out as straight as possible to maximize your acceleration. Coming up, the sweeping down into turn 7. the Shivlak corner, and then again down to turn 8 to the right, and then again turn 9. We got a yellow in sector 3. Someone must have gone off. Oh, we've got her bow. Something happened to Zulkarnain ahead. It seems like her bow is all over his rear bumper. Woo, he's sliding. Now we're about to prepare for turns 11 and 12. It's going to be a 90-degree and then immediately swoop to the left. It's used to be called the Audi S. Let's see, they go over the curb a little bit. We've got Herbo, who needs to really line this up as we go into turn 13, the camber into turn 14, and that will decide where he can put the pressure. For the Porsche Cup, they don't really have big advantages when it comes to slipstream. Okay, we've got Bunovic all over Mkhitaryan as close as he could be. Oh, and he's starting to lose it down in the swoopings 4 and 5, now into, oh, excuse me. That was turn 6. No, I was right. That was, yeah, now we're down into turns 8, preparing, and 9. Now we're turning to CM.com corner, turn 10, the sponsor for the track. Bunovic is really trying to put the pressure on for the lead of the class. Down in the cup, we have Peffe, who's still within 1 second of Hakimi, but isn't able to put the pressure like Bunovic, who's usually about a half to 0.6 seconds. Down in the turn 13, preparing for turn 14. Can he line this up? Well, oh, we got a little bit of dust kick up by Mkhitaryan. Okay, let's see where the slipstream comes. We're on board with Bunovic, hunting down to Mkhitaryan. Can he get into Tarzan? He puts it on! No, he almost touches the bumper. He was trying to think, does he go around the outside and carry on his momentum? But instead he had to jam on the brakes. But he is touching it. He's really lined up, going this camber. If he can go on the inside, then he can swoop back out of Hugenholt, excuse me. But now we go down in the swooping turns 4 and 5, then up the hill to turn 6, Stodemaker, then down to turn 7, Shivlak. It seems that Bunovic, he's got it lined up, but when he gets close enough, he's not able to be in a corner where he can take an alternative line. And that's going to make it even more difficult. Now as they come around, okay, here we go. Herbo, turn 7, chasing down Nekoroshkov. And behind, he is having to fend off. Oh no, Herbo is chasing Zulkarnain and being chased by Nekoroshkov. This 3-way battle for 6th. Okay, going high. We got a little bit of a lockup. There we go, a better traction. Herbo comes alongside. Through the sweeping corners, he's on the inside for turn 5. Can he make it? Yes, he's ahead. Now he just has to keep sticking it down into turn 6. There's some contact. There's some riding on the curve. Down into turn 7. Down we go once more as they prepare for turn 8. Oh, he's sideways! Oh no, Zulkarnain, who's gone off the track. And we've got... something's gone on. He's just got so much oversteer. His tires are probably going away from him. Maybe he's got damage now. He's going to have to pit. And now we've got Bunovic side by side with Mkhitaryan, now down into Hugenholtz, turn 3. And Mkhitaryan is down on the inside. He got a snap of loss of traction. So Bunovic has applied the pressure finally. He was able to make a driver error for the other guys. We go turns 4 and 5, sweeping, then up the hill to Slotemaker, and then down to Slevak. Wow, what a fascinating racing. So the question is, Mkhitaryan, does he need to pit for his tires? So that you guys are aware, there is one dry tire and there is one wet tire. So there is no tire advantage, but there could be overcuts and undercuts depending on how the track degradation levels. Of course, Zandvoort is notorious for high degradation levels with these cambered corners, but it seems like Bunovic was biding his time. We dropped down to the battle for P6. Brunin holding off Ischenko. You have to remember, Ischenko started the race behind every other car, including the cup cars, and now he was able to get some positions. Oh no, we just heard word. Hazik, who is doing so well, is now turning in the car, retiring, and he's DNF. Thank you so much for participating, Hazik. So sorry that you aren't able to endure this 2-hour endurance race. wasn't able to get 15 minutes into the race without his car having to be retired. As we come down the straight, it's Shenko. Like we said, he's the big story. He had problems in qualifying. Oh, that's one move on the straight. Now he's on the inside. Brunin! Oh, there's contact! There's crash! Oh no! It was almost like a Shenko who didn't know what to do, apply to brakes because Brunin had done perhaps 2 moves, and now we have Parce coming on the outside, trying to go on the inside. What? There's a huge crash! Man, the grip levels are so crazy. Guys are not understanding, and Parce, who could have had a 2-for-1 deal, is now sideways on the banked Hugenholtz corner. He has lost so much. He's trying to rejoin safely. That was crazy. It all started on that straight where, oh man, Eschenko just had it figured out. Brunin, I would have to say it was Brunin's fault. For whatever reason, he moved twice, and now he's off the track. He's really must have had a damaged car, loss of tire grip. Now he's trying to rejoin safely. So yeah, he was trying to defend his position, may have moved twice on a straight, and then that spooked Eschenko, who broke too hard in the corner, and then they turned into each other, and then that allowed Parce to lick up the wounds, and he himself got into a crash by misjudging 2 corners in a row. And that's the thing, when you've got these swooping corners that chain into each other, it's really about making the ideal line, keeping that grip level. If not, you're going to get your snap of oversteer into the bank corners, especially in the turn 3 in Hugenholtz, that 19 degrees of camber. Wow, that is going to be difficult indeed. We're back to Porsche Cup. We've got Herbeau, who is in 6th, being chased down by Nekhroshkov, and he's 3 seconds behind, or 3.6 seconds behind Kolev, and so there's a gap out front, and here we have the battle on track, and once Nekhroshkov can apply the pressure, he might be able to get into clean air. But it's up to Herbeau to be able to say, okay, what do I do here? Down in the turn 11, turn 12, which is setting us up for the banked 18-degree camber of turn 13 and 14, our final 2 corners, swooping down to the right and then setting up for the area line dike corner. And depending on how you set this up, will determine how you can go into the next corner. The Porsche cars don't get a huge benefit from slipstream, and so Nekhroshkov is really having to do a battle of inches down into the midsection of the track. Okay, there's some locking up going by Herbeau. Nekhroshkov does not want to find himself in the rear of the car in front, so he has to adjust his lines accordingly. Now they're preparing for turn 3, the Hugenholtz banked corner. They both go wide, but Nekhroshkov takes a tighter line. Maybe gets a little bit more grip as they're now going to swoop down into turns 4 and 5. Just 4/10 separate these 2 cars. As they now go to Slotemaker and then down into turn 7, Slevak. You got a yellow flag in sector 1. Someone has gone off. We'll see what that is impacting. So we have a Code 80 being thrown because Threshev has lost his rear wing. So the Code 80 is a virtual safety car. It's a speed limiter. And so right now we have our gaps. We have Brunin in the pits. He's taking advantage while everyone else is having to maintain their speed. This is perhaps the best time to take advantage of repairing your damage, or if you want to do a strategy with tires and fuel. This is tricky because he was caught behind all those LMP cars. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because they're all in that pit limit, but the LMP cars are going to be notoriously faster through the grip part, so he doesn't want to necessarily catch them before he gets to the pits, but he doesn't want to lose any time. There's 17 seconds between him and Part C in front. Threshev coming around the final 2 corners, and of course he's going to dive into the pits. Brunin has spent 1 entire minute in the pits, so clearly up. So he's done with his pit stop. Now he's just trying to come out. Now this is unlike the Formula Series where you're able to repair the car with a huge team, in the Endurance, you can easily spend 30 to 50 seconds doing your various pit actions. Okay, so we have two more cars diving into the pit. We got Velasquez and we got Treshev. Of course, Treshev needs to repair his rear wing. Oh boy, this is perhaps the worst time because he had the damage. He brought out the C80, but they're going to go green while in the pits. And so while everyone goes really fast, all these cars that currently went into the pits at the end, they just weren't at the right place at the right time. And now they're going to lose a lot more time than they could have if they had been able to go in the pits right when we went C80. We got our green flags. Right now we've got the LMP car really trying to get around number 2. We've got Brunin, the one who had gone in the pits, has got a good setup now. So now he has to weave his way through the Porsche cars. Here he is in P8. He is 6 seconds behind, or 6.7 seconds behind Partse. Now, Partse has that beautiful red livery. So when we see Brunin's dark blue try to catch up red, we'll have a fascinating battle. Nakoroshkov is back trying to deal with Harbo. Herbo, though, seems to has the better driving line before the C80. We'll see how the grip levels change as they go through this part of the circuit. Down in the turn 11 and 12, the Hans Ernst corners. Yes, that will set them up for turn 13 and 14's 18 degrees of camber. This banking that will make all the difference in their traction levels and in their tire degradation. Yep, it seems like Herbo, he's got it figured out. And Nekoroshkov is not going to be able to put any impact. But behind them, we are getting our leaders, Bunovic and Mkhitaryan. And this is, you have to remember, there are no blue flags for different classes. So when the leaders come in to deal with these drivers, they're going to have to find the best time to pass them. We have a Porsche coming out of the pits. And Mkhitaryan, oh no, we have a problem. No, there's a big crash. Oh no, he lost concentration or his tires had problems. Our race leader, Bunovic, just bends it in the wall. He's able to come back on track. He seems to be going pretty fast still, but if that damage has any big effect, this might be a game changer in the race. He comes up to the Porsche cars. He's nursing some damage. He's able to get around one. Now he's trying to go for Herbo. Where is he going to pick him up? In turn 8, okay. Now he's preparing for turn 9 and down in the CM.com corner, turn 10. Man, I don't know. This is why you have to focus on that endurance, because one moment of lapse of concentration, one moment when your tires give way, one moment when you just are not on the right part of the track at the right time. Oh, we have a lockup by Nekoroshkov. We've got Mkhitaryan, who was a few seconds behind, is now just 1.6 seconds behind the leader because of that crash. Now we see the battle before P8. We have Puzotikov trying to fend off Lewang. Keenan Lewang is putting the pressure with his number 33 car, and then we have the blue, beautifully pink. That's what we suspected. Bunovic, with that damage, has to go into the pit. This allows his teammate for Team Phoenix, Bezrakov, to go up to P2. He's trying to catch. Ooh, he's right on the bumper of Herbo as we come in to the Hugenholtz corner. Side by side they go. Herbo was very nice to go top so that he would not have to deal with the LMP below. Bunovic is now down to P5, our race leader. What a difficult time. Now, he, with his race pace, can battle up through the front. He's just going to have to find the best opportunity to use his tires, or maybe even do a fuel strategy difference so that he's a little lighter. But this has really given him problems. We have Pafet, number 11, with his nice French livery, chasing down Mika Hakimi. This is fascinating because this has been a battle that has been going on for the whole time. We have our French driver versus our Malaysian driver. We've got Pefe trying to slowly reel in Hakimi. And behind them is Tokarev just waiting. They're trying to manage their tires. Oof, we've got Pefe with a lockup going into the Tarzan corner. He has to be careful. Any pressure that he puts on front, if he makes a mistake, he will be open up to being passed behind. He's putting another little lockup into Hugenholtz, the 19-degree cambered corner. But that's fascinating. So we had a battle up front for the LMP3 class, and now we've got a battle in the Porsche Cup class. This 0.7, 0.8, it's just enough that he's in your mirrors. Turn 11 into turn 12, back to the, nope, that was our turn 8. Now into our turn 9 as they prepare for CM.com turn 10. One of the few left-handers, there's only 4. There's 14 turns on this track. Pefe gets off on the curb onto the grass. You can see how he lost his time there, and now Tokarev is reeling him in. Now hitting the curb, turn 11 into the S to turn 12. Tokarev, he's lining up well. Like I said, the slipstream is not a powerful agent when it comes to the Cup cars, so it's more about how you take the corners and have your grip levels. So we're on board with Tokarev, half a second behind Pefe, half a second behind Hakimi. This is the top 3, all within 1 second of each other, coming down the straight, preparing for Tarzan. Turn 1. And there's a lockup. There's a lockup from our leader. He's going wide. He's going tall. As they come down into turn 2, depending on how close, Pefe could go up on the inside, down into Hugenholtz, the bank, turn 3. Can he do it? No. Man, that little lockup cost him some time, but he was able to recover. As we go through the swooping 4-5, now we're to our back end as they go down the hill, 7, 8, and 9. Now we have Mkhitaryan, our race leader. Wow, that's fascinating. We have the race leader trying to pass the race leaders from the lower division. Oh, there's some contact here. He's got to be careful. He doesn't have the straight line speed compared to these cars, so he has to pass them in the grippier part of the tracks, but he can't cause him to crash. That would give him a nasty penalty. And this ruined Tarbo's pressure on the leader. Excuse me, Pefe's pressure on the leader, Hakimi. Oh, Hakimi goes a little wide. Now okay, so we have Mkhitaryan who was able to get beyond, so it didn't compromise the Cup leader going into the bank camber corner of turn 13 and 14. Here we go. A beautiful shot. We've got our race leader, followed by the top 3, and then the second one, Bezrukov. Now, here's something interesting. We've got Mkhitaryan, who's catching a back marker. Of course, he doesn't get blue flags because it's a different class, but we've got the top 3 race leaders for the Cup, and they should be able to get a blue flag on Lewang. So it's going to be interesting to see how soon Lewang gets over, because once he gives over, he's going to have to allow like 4 different cars to pass him. You don't want to go that slow. So we have Bezrukov, who's now coming up to these 3 cars. He's going to try to lose less time than Mkhitaryan did so that he can make up those 5 seconds between him. Okay, he's passed Tokarev. Now he's trying to pass Pefe. And he makes it stick. Nope, contact. He got into his blind spot. Now as they go into turn 10, he wants to stick around the outside, and he wants to pass Hakimi. Can he? He's alongside. We're on board with Pefe right now. Pefe may be able to take advantage of the slowing down and get alongside Hakimi. This could be for the race lead. Can Pefe get on the inside here? We're prepping for the camber corner of turn 13. It's all about the traction. As he comes out, if he can put a nose up the inside especially as they prepare for turn 14. He can be alongside down the straight. And once he's alongside, he has optimum position going down into the Tarzan. Buffet, can he make it? No, he didn't have as much traction as Hakimi did coming out of turn 14. He is now starting to drop back. So it seems that Hakimi, Buffet thought about outbraking. He's now left the door open. He's left the door open. Tokarev wasn't able to capitalize on it. Now he's back. So it's interesting. By braking late, he's able to carry more speed through Tarzan. And now he's going up the inside through turn 3. Oh, he almost made contact. It looked like there was maybe a little bit of oversteer. But the problem is when you attack ahead and you don't make the pass stick, you now get attacked by behind. Tokarev trying to turns 4 and 5. But he isn't able to make it happen. Hakimi staying cool and not giving into the pressure. Buffet clearly has the grip and the pace that once he passes him, he's going to dust him. But Hakimi is just nursing his tires, biding his time, holding up the pack, driving the race. He wants a race, especially because when they get to this back marker will have to give way. But if he's running a similar pace to them, they might be surprised that they're not able to get past him in a convenient place. Okay, we have another lockup, turn 11 into 12. This is the difference maker when it comes to this 3. How you get your track. Oh, off onto the grass goes Hakimi. This is what we were looking for. Buffet and Tokarev. If they can get better traction out of turn 13 and 14, he's going high. He shouldn't have done that. Buffet should have tucked in low as possible. He went up high. He may not have got the traction he needed. He needs to get on the inside of Tarzan if he can get it. But Hakimi knows that's what's going on, and so he goes narrow. But then Buffet's like, well, if you go narrow, then I will force you to keep going narrow. But then Tokarev says, well, I'll be even more narrow than you guys. And we maintain this going into turns 2 and then down into our banked Hugenholtz corner 3. Man, Hakimi has been giving signs, and then slamming the door. It's confusing, mixed messages for them, but that is racing. It's fascinating that the Porsche cars, the drivers sit on the left-hand side, but for the LMP cars, they sit on the right-hand side. Okay, we're down in the turn 7. The Slovak corner, down coming the hill to turn 8 and 9. Okay, it is tight. What used to be a half a second between these guys is now 0.1. Oh, and Buffet makes a mistake, goes through Tokarev. They're side by side. Can Tokarev swinging through here hold on to it? Is he, or is there going to be contact? Here are we. He gave it back. He wasn't able to maintain the grip levels on the outside. Buffet making mistakes and letting Hakimi pull away. They were down to a 0.1 second. Now it's 0.6. This battle is costing so much time because Buffet cannot just pick a line and stick to it. This is where the patient strategy comes in. He goes high on the curb. He goes a little bit in the grass. And then Tokarev is looking down the inside. So what you have to do in these situations, when it's an hour and a half remaining in the race, you got to look at the driver. You got to say, okay, where is he strong? What corners does he like to take certain angles or braking zones on? And then you plan ahead. It doesn't seem like Buffet had been studying Hakimi enough to make a good spot. He was just trying to play it as he felt it. And it ultimately has not allowed him to make a decisive pass attempt. As they reel in, Hakimi had a little bit of a lockup. He gets a little bit compromised. As you can see, he takes a different line. He goes high, and Buffet goes narrow into high, and Tokarev goes high. But it seems like it worked for Hakimi because he was able to maintain the gap. It's now up to 0.7. So being able to take that higher line means that you straighten faster. That's the thing. You want your grip levels in these cup cars. But now, Buffet's down to 0.5. A half a second. So it seems like they're stronger in different parts of the lap. It's really up to trying to figure out who's where. Now, if you're Buffet, you're really trying to decide how close can you keep to Hakimi before the pit cycle. Because maybe an undercut is what you need so that you can get clean air to pass him when he comes in the pits. Or maybe you think that your tires are fine, and when he goes in the pits, then you go long and you overcut him. I think that is going to be the decider between these 3 cars. Who pits first and who is able to have better grip either on their outlap or in-lap. This pack, though, is going to be caught by Brunin. Brunin, like I said, he started the race with problems in qualifying. He started at the back of the pack out of all these cars, and now he's up to fifth position. Imagine if he had started up with the LMP class at the start of the race and not having to pass 10 Porsche cars, he could be fighting for the lead. He really has the pace. Like Brunovic, who is our race leader, who because of damage and having a mistake and costing him the race is down in 8th, and he doesn't seem to be able to get any advantage. We have Brunin. He is really making things hard for Pefay. Pefay. Oh, there's contact. There's a crash. Oh, no. He tried to pass him down into the cambered Bugenholz, and that has cost Brunin all that time, all that pace, and now that has cost him dearly. He is trying to recover. But that's the thing. You have to be able to pass these lower car classes carefully. Just because you have better grip doesn't mean that they want you to have the best line. What difficulty. What difficulty. Brunin had such beautiful pace. He was going to catch Smirnoff. With the pace that Brunin had, he could be on the podium. But with that mistake, that's going to make things really difficult. Really difficult. Harbaugh is the first to go into the pits in this sector. You have Hakimi, Pefay, and Tokarev. So the question is, does Pefay, Tokarev, or Hakimi, which one of them is going to bite first? Like I said before, it comes down to the overcut-undercut strategy, and that may decide who gets the best clean air. Because as it looks like Pefay, the Frenchman, has the better pace. Hakimi from Malaysia is able to hold him off, though. And Tokarev is really just trying to bide his time as we see Brunin back in the distance. He might catch him about half a lap, and he's going to hope that this time when he catches him, he doesn't get slammed into the wall down into one of the corners. I'm surprised Brunin didn't have damage that needed to be repaired. He's able to carry on. Herbeau for over a minute in the pits. He maybe had some damage, and so he's like, okay, not only will I repair it, but he may do tires. The problem is we're not even half distance, so he may not want to change anything on his tires or fuel. The LMP cars are designed in such a way that they'll probably need 2 pit stops in the race. Here we got Brunin. He safely passes Tokarev. The gap now has switched up between these top 3. Because of Brunin's engagement the last time. And so now his nemesis on the track, Pefay, now he's having to decide where does he pass it. Okay, so there's blue flags being shown to Korj. Okay, a little bit better traction out through this corner, and now Brunin is alongside. Now he's going to chase down Hakimi, the leader for the Cup, and blue flags were being shown to Korj. So he's going to find a way to let these 4 cars through. Well, he has to let 3 of them through. He doesn't have to let the LMP car through. It's interesting how blue flags work in endurance when you got multiple classes. Okay, wow, going into Aaron Leindijk, the final corner. Brunin, he takes it. And now, like I said, we've got the situation where we got these blue flags. So Hakimi may lose time. The pink car is off the track. He got spooked. He went wide. Now we got Pefay back on Hakimi's tail. Can he put the pressure? Now he tries to do the switchback. Can he get better grip? Oh, he does. He almost gets alongside. He's really trying that alternative line to set him up better because, like I said, it all comes down to grip levels since there's not a DRS. He's almost alongside, but he's trying to be covered off by Hakimi down in the turn 7. Oh, there's contact, and he's sideways! Pefay is sideways! He is spun on the track. He hit the bumper of Hakimi. Hakimi does not give any sort of leeway, and it has caused Pefay multiple times problems on the track. It's almost like he is trying to guard so much, and when Pefay is less than a second, he doesn't know where to go because it's just the bumper of the car in front, and Hakimi maintains his lead. Pefay has the pace. He's clearly faster than Hakimi, but he's not able to get in a position where he can get alongside to really force Hakimi to do something other than take the best line. Now, we would have to go back through that footage. Did Hakimi do a move too late of a block down into those corners that caused that contact. We'll have to see. But and that was those were some difficult situation. Pefay is now 3 seconds down in third. Hopefully he didn't have any damage. We've got Hakimi locking up. See, that's the thing. Hakimi, he always seems to be locking up in this first sector. He has better traction through the middle sector. And we'll see. It's difficult. Tokarev is now 1.5 seconds behind Hakimi. Pefay is 3 seconds. It's going to be really hard. Like I said, it comes down to pit strategy. They are got 20 more minutes probably before the halfway mark. So maybe, okay, we got yellow flags. In Sector 1, Korj, who used to be at the back of the pack in the Cup. Actually, I'm not seeing him in the top 10, so maybe he's still below them. Trying his best, driving how he can. Okay, so he's a blue flag, a back marker. Now we have Hakimi, who's going to have to go by. But you have to be careful. Just because they give you blue flags doesn't mean that they're just going to pull over and wave you by. And so you got to make sure that you pass him at a good spot. You minimize the amount of time you've lost. Because if he's not careful, Tokarev will be able to pounce on this. Okay, look at that traction difference coming out of turn 12 as we prepare for the 19 degrees cambered corner of 13 into 14, the Aryan line dike corner. Yeah, so you can see, even though he's a back marker, he's carrying pretty much the same pace around the track. It's just a battle of inches. Tokarev, he's now within a second. Pefay, who was 3 seconds down, is now 8 seconds down. So either he made another mistake or he's got some damage and he's needing to consider in the pits. Yep, there he goes. That was his in-lap into the pits. So unfortunate for Pefay. We had this three-way battle. He clearly was trying to find the best place to attack Hakimi, but like I said, he just was not able to capitalize. He was eating bumper, and it's hard to get alongside. Okay, Tokarev, who's trying to catch the back marker of Korj and pass him. If he's able to pass him we have another DNF, Brunin. So unfortunate. Brunin, who was the star comeback of this race. An hour and 20 left, and his car is getting retired. So unfortunate. It's so difficult. Thank you for racing with us, Brunin. Sorry you weren't able to do it. You did a magnificent race. You had that big crash with the leaders of the Cup. Up, there he is. Yep, there he goes. Going to retire the car. Oh, this is Smirnoff we're on board with. He must have damage. He's going really slow. This is our driver in fourth position. Okay, he's getting alongside the Cup down in the turn 11, down in the turn 12 as he preps for turn 13, and then the cambered 18 degrees of the Aryan line dike final corner. Maybe he wasn't actually as slow as it looks. It's just that the top end speed amongst all the cars is very similar. So the only time you're going to notice the LMP cars go faster is through cornering grip. Here he is on the main straight. Okay, here comes Hakimi. Hakimi is trying to battle Partse. Partse, our lone red car from the LMP, got ahead. That apparently has benefited Tokarev, because Tokarev is now on the bumper. So can he learn where Pefay failed? Because like we said, Hakimi is not the faster car, but he has the advantage of position. He was able to fend off against Pefay. Now, some people might protest the way he was defending, but let's see if Tokarev is able to be a little bit smarter when he catches him. Because the problem we saw with Pefay was that by taking the alternative line out of Hugenholtz, turn 3's cambered corner, while that was great, if you're not alongside coming out of the corner, he'll block you. Here we go. Here we go. He's alongside. This is something Pefay was never able to do. Tokarev is now alongside. Now, as we go into turn 11 and 12, here, Oh, excuse me. I'm confused. This is turn 13 going into turn 14. Oh, no. He was alongside and he gave up the position. Can he get better grip coming out down the straight? If he can be alongside going into Tarzan, he will have great advantage. But as you can see, Hakimi is really good with his grip levels on this part of the track, and that's why it's so hard to attack him. But he always seems to lock up in that corner and then damage. See, this is the problem. Hakimi, he keeps causing this contact that is messing up the cars behind. Like, they're trying to pass him, and next thing you know, he's locking up and they're hitting the bumper, right? Like, I'm not going to say that he should be getting black and white flags for this, but this is becoming a repetitive story as he's defending in a way that is compromising the cars behind. And, okay, they may say rubbing is racing. It's more of an American lingo, but Hakimi is making his car thick as the width of the track. Okay, we've got Tokarev trying to put the tension down into turn 8, swinging down into turn 9. Can he, as they set up for the turn 10, can he get alongside to get better traction? Let's see what happens, because this, we get a little bit of a straight. Well, it's a bendy straight, but this will set up for the Hans Ernst S. Turn 11 and 12. It's a 90-degree to the right and immediately swooping back 180 to the left. Like I said, there you go. Hakimi always seems to get these little bits of lockup. He goes into the gravel. Tokarev is alongside. Can he actually make a stick? No, Hakimi does this over and over again. He is locking up in places that give the cars behind hope, and then he slams the door, and then they're trying to figure out where they're going to stay for the night. Okay, he's down the main straight. Tokarev is as close as he can ever be. But he just cannot get inside because Hakimi knows. There he goes. He goes locking up again. What Hakimi will do is he'll go on the inside, so you can't get on the inside of Tarzan. And because he's on the inside, he can't take the ideal line. And so he has to brake a little bit later, which is causing this lockup. Okay, he's going really tall, very top end, Tokarev. Oh, and he almost, like, there we go. There is Hakimi. Hakimi's doing a lot of movements. Hakimi's got to pick a line and stick to it. You can't be swerving through all these corners. The problem is there's not really a straight to make it clear if he's swerving, right? But he's as wide as all get out. And Tokarev might fall into the same trap as Buffet. Here we go, down into turn 8. He's trying to get the better grip. Tokarev has to get alongside and force Hakimi wide. Hakimi likes to lock up and then force you out of the position you want, and he's getting away with it. But clearly he is not the fastest car on this track. Both Buffet and Tokarev. Tokarev is finally alongside. Tokarev is going to get the door slammed on him. It just happens every time. Can he stick it? Can he force him to have to agree? The problem is we're in turn 11. He's going to lock up again, which then forces the other guy wide. Can he be on the inside this time? No. Hakimi is doing his same old tricks. He locks up so that he doesn't have to give any way, and then he blocks you. So the problem is you have to be on the inside of Hakimi on a double. He's always allowing you alongside when he's on the inside. You have to be on his inside when you're going to a double right-hand corner. That's the only way you're going to be able to pass this guy. Excuse me. Tokarev really trying to put the pressure. And again, Hakimi locks up in the turn 1. Hakimi is getting away with this. Is this going to affect his tires at all? We don't have tire data, so we don't know if this is going to ultimately hurt him. But like Tokarev really has to consider the undercut or the overcut. And the problem we have is we have a back marker who's allowed to race, but he's always putting pressure. And if Tokarev makes a mistake, he could get sandwiched between these two cars. So, feeling bad for Buffet. He's down in 8th. This driver was at P2 for a long time before he had his own mistake with Hakimi. Like I said, how long can Hakimi get away with his antics? He's clearly knowing where he can lock up to let you alongside and then force you to the side. There we go. He's always braking late. And the only way Tokarev or any other driver is going to be able to pass this race leader is he's got to get on the inside on a double turn. He can't get alongside when Hakimi is going to be on the inside of the next turn because he'll always force you wide. Like, for example, right here. He shouldn't be going here. He needs to be on the inside of this corner. He must think that by forcing the guy narrow, he can then go wide and then get on the inside. But Hakimi's always smart for that and lets you bump his bumper. See, there we go. Maybe Maybe what Tokarev needs to do is he needs to give him a nice little nudge on the outside so he gets a little bit of grass and tell him, hey, if you're going to keep doing this, right, I'm going to make you start focusing on me and lose your traction. Maybe that's what Tokarev has to do. The problem is if you do that and the guy crashes, you're going to look like a big old jerk and get slapped down with penalties. Cafe has DNF. No! It is so gut-wrenching when you are fighting for the lead, and because of the crash and the damage and the pitting, and now you're down in 8th, and now you've got to disconnect, it goes worse to worse to worse. No, thank you so much, Buffet. You were doing amazing racing, really strong, and I'm sorry that you weren't able to finish this race. Thank you for racing with us. Now we're back to this lead battle between Hakimi and Tokarev. Tokarev really, it's going to be hard for him to pass, but maybe that's what he's got to do is in this section right here, when it's 3 right-hand turns in a row, he needs to be alongside. The problem is this guy Hakimi will always lock up here. Watch, we're going to see a cloud smoke. He didn't do it this time. Congratulations. But he always seems to lock up in these. And then this next one is a right-hander followed by a left-hander. And so he always locks up in the place where he knows that if you get the inside, he can cover you off. Okay, same old. Tokarev is trying to get better traction out of this corner. And can he? What he really needs to do, see, look, and then Hakimi cuts him off, right? What he really needs to do is he needs to pump him a little bit wide. Okay, here we go, the leader of the race. We've got, man, he put pressure. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Tokarev. It put pressure on Tokarev when he was attacking Hakimi, right? But it didn't slow Hakimi down at all. There is Hakimi locking up. He cannot. Tokarev cannot take advantage of. Apparently, these lockups are so much more visual than they are impacting. So Mkhitaryan, who's got 7 seconds over Buzrakov, is fine. Now, finally, no, it's always the angle. It always looks like Tokarev gets alongside, but it's not. If he really could get alongside out of the corner of 3, he could then force Hakimi into 4 and 5. Okay, there's a little bit of drifting going on. Like I said, Hakimi has this tendency. He will make you feel, and then he will bump you around. This has to be the place. He's doing a different line. There goes a lockup. But this doesn't work. You can't come alongside here because he's got the inside of the next corner. What are you going to do, a switchback? Exactly. Maybe he can make it. Can't get the switchback to work. He's out on the curb. He can. No, he can't. I'm telling you, you guys have to rethink your strategy. Hakimi knows this track too well, and he always lets you on the inside when the next corner is the opposite way. You have to pass him when it's a double. There we go. We got a little bit of contact in the rear. You got to push Hakimi wide. If he's going to make you touch his rear, you got to put his rear in the grass. Sorry, that's not what you probably should be doing, but that's what's going on. And here again, Tokarev is going to lose out because we've got Buzrakov who's going to catch him right when he needs the most grip coming out on the straight. Okay, we got our first person into the pits. This is the difference maker. If Tokarev has a better in-lap than Hakimi did, then he's going to have free air. He has to prove it in his free air right now. He has to be able to get that lead. This is the strategy we've been looking for. Who was going to go pit first? Now, remember, this is a 2-hour race. This is 1 hour and 9 minutes into the race. So he's pit actually a little bit earlier. Tokarev, if he can go 9 more minutes, he'll be easily at the halfway mark. And you also have to remember, we had some C80s. So they weren't going full pace for this first hour. So that means, depending on tire and fuel levels, Hakimi, with all those lockups, did in fact affect his tires. And he may not be able to go the rest of the race on this next set of tires. Let's see, Tokarev, does he go in the pits so he can cover him off, or is he going to try to go long? Like I said, the LMP cars, they're kind of built to have to do 2 pit stops in a race, whereas the Cup cars can get away with 1. So it really comes down to what was his setup, how much fuel did he decide to carry in the car, how is his tires doing. We didn't really see many lockups from him. So let's see. What does he look like in clean air? Okay, Hakimi is now in P4. He's still in the pits. Shinobarov is getting ready to come down the straight. Yep, so it looks like he's going to lose another position. There's a big gap to Lewang, so that means Hakimi will have clean air when he comes out. We're on board with Shinobarov, number 23, with his Dark Wing Racing. Very iconic orange livery. Okay, Tokarov has carried on. He's not in the pits. With clean air, can Tokarev really put it? I didn't pay attention to what the gap was when they do it. Hakimi seems to continually be in the pits. We don't see how long he was in the pits. We don't see the pit timer to see if it's a normal pit stop length or not. But he does seem to be there a little bit longer than normal. And so now we have to see, does Tokarev have it? Does he have the clean air to be able to make this overcut work? Okay, he's getting caught by some LMP cars. He cannot lose time. This is the tricky thing. He has to let them by to not ruin his race. But at the same time, he needs to be able to be doing fast enough levels. Hakimi is now out of the pits. Okay, so collectively, because it's 47, 18, 56, 9. I'm not good with my math. If we could have a leader down the pack interval, we'll be able to see what is the gap between Hakimi and Tokarev to see who the net leader will be and what the gap needs to be. So it's 48 seconds to the next driver. And can he make that overcut work? We have yellow sectors in sector 3. Oh no, Smirnov is in the gravel. Is he able to come back at a safe time? This is ruining his race. He's being very conscientious and letting the cars come so he doesn't safely re-enter. But Smirnov, who's in P6, doesn't seem to have lost a lap to Treshev, who's a lap down. First place gets 30 points, down to 1 point in 20th position. So any of these guys that are finishing the race are getting a good haul of points. And so while he didn't lose any position, Smirnov, we see here, oh, he's in the pits. Yep, he must have had some damage from that. So he might actually lose his position because of this, because there's an 83-second gap. Most of the pit stops are about a minute. We're going to find out if Smirnov is able to come out of the pits before he loses the position to Treshev. You have to realize Smirnov also stayed off the track for a while, and this is going to make a big impact on his race. We are following currently Sharik Zulkarnain being chased by Keenan Lewang. There is a 1.2 second gap between them. Not as close as we saw the other battles, but Hakimi is making a little bit of time. He was 48 seconds behind Chernobyl, and now he's 46. The new tires have the grip. The question is, what is the gap between Tokarev and Hakimi? What is the gap between first and fifth? Because this will really tell us if Tokarev's overcut is working. Okay, we've got our race leader, Mkhitaryan, in the pits. He's been passed by Buzrakov, Team Phoenix, who's now our new race leader. And then we've got Amir Hazik, who posted in Discord, DC'd Sai. Yep, I'm so sorry. And then Michael Velasquez, I'm assuming, said, oh man, wish I knew what the cause is behind the connection issues, was trying to come back from a dumb mistake. Michael Velasquez is our lone driver from the Philippines. He says it's not the league organizer's fault, of course, but hopefully he's able to get these connection issues sorted for our next event in 2 weeks' time, where the racing will move from the Netherlands over to the United States. Our American leg of the 4-race calendar will be at Toban Raceway Park. This is a custom-built track, where Zandvoort, Road Atlanta are real life, and the Dubai Autodrome, is that custom built, or is that based off a real track as well? That is a real track. So we have 3 real life ones that we get to see the beautiful pacing on, and now we have Nekoroshkov chasing down Guy Flynn, 0.1 seconds behind. It really comes down to the grip levels. Okay, here we go. We have it. So Tokarev is our leader, and Hakimi is 1 lap down. So that's about 136. We have Koroshkov trying to put the inside, but not wanting to give up the grip levels. We're on board with him as he's taking a more close line. He's alongside coming out of turn 3, but not able to make it stick, going to the sweeping 4 and 5. It's really tricky as these cars are wanting to make a grip pass happen and just not able to do it. Going out high on the exit of the corner straightens your car out. Up, but then he goes down the inside. This is perhaps one of the cleanest passes we've seen. Turn 8, he's ahead. Going into turn 9, he is good. So like I was saying, with Hakimi being a lap down and the laps around here about 1 minute 36, 1 minute 37, then that means that Tokarev, his overcut only works if when he goes in the pits, it's less than that amount. So we're going to find out. We're going to go silent for 2 minutes as I'm going to take a mid-race break for the restroom and water. We'll be back in 2 minutes. And we're back. We have Tokarev in the pits. Hakimi, 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. The overcut has not worked for Tokarev. Tokarev is still in the pits for 2 whole minutes. He must be doing a really strong tire and fuel changing strategy. And Hakimi is now clearly in the lead. Tokarev had the pace, but was not able to get ahead even when he got clean air. Here he comes out of the pits, and Tokarev, 2 minutes and 17 seconds in the pits. He is down 20 seconds. That's a big oof. Now the question is, Hakimi, is he going to have to pit again? Because you can't tell me that Hakimi gained 20 seconds of lap pace in those few laps, right? So he clearly had a different method when he went into the pits. So does Tokarov suddenly have more pace and be able to make up these 20 seconds? Yes, Kolev 6 seconds behind, but it's going to be difficult to catch the leader. But he's got 57 minutes to catch 22 seconds. That's doable. Okay, we've got on board our LMP car. I can't see who the onboard is. It's Schenko. Schenko, who's currently sitting in third, the final podium position. He's got Bunovic chasing him down 2.3 seconds behind. They're all trying to go through the traffic, trying to make it work. Tokarev now 22 seconds. Yeah, he's not making the indentation you would want. So it is tricky. Something happened. Hakimi was able to have a better pit stop strategy. We have a lockup. Keenan Lewang letting Novar through. Novar is cleanly ahead going into turn 10. Oh, Lewang has another issue. He goes wide. Maybe it's because he was giving way to the Team Phoenix driver, Bezrukov. Or excuse me, Bunovic. Bunovic now goes up the inside on Novar. And Bunovic, who's in P4, is now 1.7 seconds behind Ashenko. He's trying to close that gap. Team Phoenix versus Unison Racing. Now it's back up to 2. So this is the thing. When you're trying to pass other cars or you get into traffic, it feels like you gain time, but then you also have to pass the guys, and then you lose that time again. Yep, Tokarev is still maintaining that 22-second gap. Hakimi was able to survive the pressure from Buffet, was able to survive the pressure of Tokarev and get the ideal pit stop to now be in clean air, unpressured for the foreseeable future. Here we have our endurance. So 40 laps. We're on lap 40, going into 41. Now, we don't have the laps posted during the race, so I can't tell you how many laps the overcut went over Hakimi. And we'll see if those fresher tires at the end of the race will be to Tokarev's advantage, as he completed 36 laps and Hakimi's on his 37th lap. We had 20 drivers to start. We've had 3 retirements from the LMP class. And, David Partsy has retired. No! Thank you for participating in this race with us. So sorry that you just DNF'd. And then we have Pefe, Brunin, Herbo, Hazik, Huang, and Danish all DNFing. Started the race with 20 drivers. Now we're down to about half that. We've got Gaifulin and Novar. Novar sitting up the inside on Tarzan. Oh, and I said we have half that, but it's not quite. We have 7 and 10, so it's not bad. Still 17 drivers. We have Korj and Lewang in the pits. Tokarev has gained a second on Hakimi. It is a battle over 50 minutes of racing. That's the thing. While it may seem crazy to be 22, 23 seconds behind, if you're just a 0.2 faster per lap, over the course of the hour, you will eventually catch up. Although, to catch up 23 seconds, you have to be faster than 0.2. I'm trying to do the math here. You got to be a lot faster. You probably at least need to be a half a second faster. Okay, we're following Bunovic. 1.5, 1.3 seconds behind Ashenko. we've been following tons of cup battles. Now we get into an LMP battle. The last time we had this LMP battle was right at the very beginning of the race when Mkhitaryan was fighting off, and he was able to survive, and there was that whole crash that happened. Crazy stuff. But now here we go, Bunovic versus Echenko. Can he reel him in? The beautiful purple car, the 717 Unison Racing, has got into the dirt. He's lost some time. This is going to impact them as they go into turn 13, setting up for the cambered Ian Lyndike turn 14. Now, LMP cars do benefit from slipstream. And so, depending on when Echenko catches this Porsche, will give him the benefit of slipstream before he gets in the braking zone. But if he doesn't pass the car in a safe manner, he's going to lose all this time. Does he go around the long side? Okay, he's trying, but he's thinking better of it. He's going to try to pass him down into the cambered corner. Yep. Hugenholtz, they're now right next to each other. Both cars being able to get past Hakimi or Cup car. Imagine if Hakimi had been punted off the track or lost even more time. He was actually fortunate that both cars passed him down in the Hugenholtz. That did lose him another 2 seconds, though, to Tokarev. So it did impact his racing. Okay, we've got Echenko, who got passed by Bunovic. I was so focused on them passing Hakimi, I didn't actually see the pass between Bunovic and Echenko. Bunovic, beautiful driving. He was able to take advantage when the back marker was caught, past the back marker without losing any time. And then what the Porsche cars are not able to do through turns 4 and 5, Bunovic was able to do, get alongside and actually make it stick. Here we go into turn 11, 12. The Hans Urs corners, the S. Bunovic clearly has better pace here, and so it's going to be hard for Echenko to be able to fight back and get that podium place again. But there is slipstream on the straight, so he can stay within striking distance. Let's see, it was 0.7 at the beginning of the straight. Let's see where it is at the end. So the slipstream is worth... actually, it ended up evening out. Maybe a tenth, maybe. Hakimi, his lead was 23 seconds, and now it's down to 17. Tokarev, he's trying to play the long game. He really wants to be caught back up to Hakimi when Hakimi's tires are starting to wear away. The problem is, we've already seen how this plays out. Hakimi will blow through his rear tires, locking up, and you can't pass him. So he needs, with that overcut, needs to have much fresher tires so that he's able to have better grip. If he's not able to have a superior grip in the closing stages of the race, he's probably going to settle for second. The 15-minute warning has gone down. The driver's up. The yellow flag was very briefly flashed. We've got Zulkarnain in the pits. Okay, got passed by Gaifulin. Let's see, he's probably also going to get passed by Chernobrov because he's within a minute 10. Maybe Nekoroshkov will pass him as well while he's in the pits. We will see. Now, you have to realize for the Porsche cars, if you're having your scheduled pit stop, it was in this frame, in the last 10 minutes to now, and you should be able to go to the end. And so we're on board with Chernobrov. He's 48 seconds behind the guy in the pits. It's going to be close to see if Zulkarnain will come out and be alongside Chernobrov or past. Let's see how it goes. Chernobrov, behind him is a back marker, it looks like. Down in the first... Say it again. Oh, is Novar that he passed? Oh, Novar. So actually, Chernobrov is the back marker. Interesting. It's Novar that is going to get blue flags at one point. Let's see how this goes. Okay, Zulkarnain is still in the pit. Chernobrov is on the main straight. So Zulkarnain will get past on the straight. He's going to have to deal with losing 2 separate positions. But now Nekoroshkov is 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10 seconds. Zulkarnain may lose an additional position. Here we go, coming down the straight. We're on board with Nekoroshkov. And Zulkarnain is still in the pits. So he's lost 3 positions. But it's up to him now to pass them back up with these fresher tires and maybe different fuel level load. Like I said, between this moment and the hour mark was when the Porsche cars would have had their main pit stop. Okay, Zulkarnain comes out of the pits. He's got 3 positions to make up to get back to where he was. Tokarev, who came out of the pits 23 seconds behind Hakimi, is now 14 seconds. Okay, yellow flag, sector 3. We've got Mkhitaryan, who is our race leader and LMP3 leader, is trying to catch back markers. The gap is... Oh, so the stats say that Buzrakov is 1.7 seconds per lap faster than Mkhitaryan. He's 12 seconds behind, but that's Buzrakov. Yep. So the question is, if he is able to reel him in by the end of the race. Having a second per lap is what you're going to need to be able to apply the pressure. Now, Tigran, our race leader, our Russian driver, is not driving the standard Ligier that other people do. There are 2 cars that they can choose of, the Ligier or the Norma. And he is racing with the Norma and doing great pace with it. Buzrakov, 12.1, 12.2, down into the 11s. He's making small increments, probably not enough to catch up by the end of the race, but we will see. We will see. And right now it says Buzrakov is 0.3 seconds faster. So that could reel in. If you're 0.3 seconds and you're 12 seconds behind, then that's going to take you 3 laps to gain a second. That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to try to catch the leader, but he can try to make it close. If we were able to see on our graphics how many laps or how old these tires are, then I'd be able to tell the overcuts, undercuts. Because while he may be a little faster, Buzrakov may be, it might be because he did an overcut and now he has fresher tires. But it could also be that Mkhitaryan is just nursing his tires to make sure that they have best grip for the entirety of the race, and he doesn't have to push them because he's in clean air. But Buzrakov is now down to 10.8 seconds as Mkhitaryan catches traffic. Hakimi getting passed by Mkhitaryan. Loses... Oh! Off onto the gravel a little bit. Mkhitaryan's got to be careful. Yellows in Sector 1. Someone has an off. Oh, into the pits goes Mkhitaryan! Goes into the pits, Mkhitaryan! Ooh, this is going to make the decision on the race. He is going to, at the least, come down, probably a lap down. Oh boy. With 44 minutes remaining, the question is, have the other guys done their pits? Because the LMP car is doing about 2 pits a race. This could just be his standard pit that he's going to do. But now he's going to have to make up these times. Mkhitaryan, who's led for the majority of this race. We're going to find out what his pit strategy is. We're on board now with our Tokarev, who's 12 seconds behind Hakimi. Unison Racing chasing down Blue Steel, Skunk Works. He's catching a back marker. And he doesn't want to lose time on this back marker. Anytime he can pass the driver as cleanly as possible means that he's going to gain more time on the race leader. Okay, interesting. Bunovich is also into the pits as Mkhitaryan comes out. Mkhitaryan did a 1 minute or sub 1 minute pit. So that means he was doing a splash. And so, interesting. So Mkhitaryan is come out in 4th position. He's going to have to catch Buzrakov. Now the question is, does Buzrakov have the strategy? Okay, that must have been a blue flag. Mkhitaryan is half a second behind Henk-Jan Steneker. We haven't really followed Steneker the whole race, but he is in the final podium position. And depending on how this plays out, Mkhitaryan is going to try to catch him, pass him on track, but they've got traffic. They have traffic. Up the inside. Both cars go. Mkhitaryan trying to catch Steneker. Russian versus Dutch, I believe. On the track, here we go. Turn 11, turn 12, the Hans Urs turns now sets them up for turn 13, and then into the 18 degree of banking for the final corner, the area line dike corner. Now, slipstream is very powerful for these cars. So let's see. Covering off the inside, Steneker wants to force Mkhitaryan on the outside. Can he swing around the outside? He's trying to make it stick. Mkhitaryan, he goes long side. He's ahead. He made the swing around Tarzan work. Congratulations on your fresher tire grip levels. Mkhitaryan's now back on the podium, and he is 66 seconds behind Ekshenko. We have yellows in sector 2, someone having an off or a little bit of slippage. We have a little bit of traffic. The dark wing is allowing the Cyberlink past and the Promix Flame through. Guy Fulin is in the pits for over a minute. He's down into P8. We have multiple drivers 1 to 2 laps down, which means there are only 4 cars on the lead lap. Now, of course, when pits happen, that's going to affect things. As it pertains to the LMP class, there's also 5 cars that are on the lead lap. Bunovich, Steneker, Mkhitaryan, Ekshenko, and Bezrukov. As we can see, Mkhitaryan is using his faster pace and fresher tires to pull away from Steneker. As he's got to make up ground to catch back up to the lead. We're on board Lewang, half a second between him and P9, Artem Puzatikov. Here we go, out of the final corner. A little bit of loss of traction for Lewang, and as you can see, that's allowing Puzatikov to pull away. But he has a lockup. Lewang is trying to think about putting up the inside, trying to get better traction out of the corner as they set up for turn 2. Bunovich has just set the fastest lap at a 1:29. Okay, here we go on the inside of the Hugenholtz corner. Not able to make it work. Off onto the grass goes Puzatikov. This is going to affect him going into turns 6. The Slotemaker corner down in the Shivlak. Lewang is really just trying to make sure that when he makes it alongside that he can stick it. Here we go, turn 9. And, oh, he's off! Puzatikov locks up, and Lewang goes through. And this is difficult for difficult for Puzatikov because now we've got the LMP cars coming alongside. So not only does he give up the position, he won't be able to attack back because the LMP cars are going to get between him and Lewang. Lewang lets the 2 cars through at turn 11, and there's a little bit of dust kicking up. Oh no! We got a guy off onto the grass. These LMP cars started touching. Bunovich, who is supposed to be fighting in P5, is now stuck. Actually, that was a back marker that he tangled with. We got Steneker in the pits, so that's why Mkhitaryan was able to catch him and pass him, because Steneker had yet to do his second pit stop for the race. It makes sense with all those lockups going on. Huzatakov is now going and pitting. Mkhitaryan, 1 minute and 2 seconds down from P2. Akshenko is trying to catch traffic. Going around the inside. Can he make it stick? Yes, he's allowed plenty of room going through turn 10. Mkhitaryan is really trying to do it. He's 62 seconds behind the leader and only 11 seconds behind the next driver. So he's got to make up a minute's worth of time in 37 minutes of racing. Let me double check. When the time hits 0, then it completes the last lap, or when time hits 0, that is just they're done. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, so when time hits 0, the leader, whatever lap he's on, when they hit time 0, he has to finish that lap. So we have Tigran Mkhitaryan, 11 seconds behind Denis Akshenko. He's 1.6 seconds faster per lap. He's going to reel him in. Buzrakov, it's tricky because if Akshenko and Buzrakov pit, they're going to put a lot of, well, I guess it depends. It really depends. I doubt they're going to be able to hold off for the rest of the race. So they might just be doing their race, and Mkhitaryan is just our net leader, even though it looks like he's chasing down, hunting down the 2 cars ahead. Tokarev, who was 23 seconds behind Hakimi, is now down to 7. His overcut has worked because I was projecting, based off of the amount of time he had left, he needed to catch the leader with 10 minutes left. He's got 36 minutes left, and he from 23 down to 7, so that's roughly 60% he's been able to gain in 20 minutes time or so. So he is really good on pace to be able to not only catch Hakimi, but probably apply a lot of pressure with these fresher tires. So this is where it comes down to. Like, Tokarev saw what was happening with Pafet. Tokarev saw that he could not catch or pass the man, Hakimi, with how he was driving. So he says, okay, I will go along so that I can ensure fresher tires and maybe a little less fuel. We'll see. We don't have this data, so we don't know exactly what his strategy is. But he did pit for what appears to be a little bit longer than Hakimi did because he lost 20 seconds. But if he did it right, not only will he have fresh tires, he will have better grip and perhaps faster fuel levels when he gets up to him. This could be the patient play for the lead. We're on board with Tigran Mkhitaryan, who's also about the same distance. Tokarev was 6.4 seconds behind Hakimi, and now Tokarev is 7.7 seconds behind Akshenko. Yellow flags in Sector 2. It might be someone with aging old tires who's starting to have some lockups. Oh, this might be a retirement. We've got a car pulled off the side of the track who's not moving. If it continues to be this way, we might end up with a C80. We're going to see. There is a Porsche car that was just pulled off the side of the track. Okay, we're following right now. It looks like, I believe, Akshenko. And now we've got Novar, who's 30 seconds behind Kolev, but he's getting caught by all these LMP cars. Yep, we still have this car stationary on track. Yellow flags in Sector 3. The race director is trying to figure out what's going on and what that means for the race. Okay, the race director does not believe it impacts the racing, and he's got going again. There's no need for a C80. Okay, so 22. That is Zulkarnain, who was doing pretty well during the race before he had some problems. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the pits, unless it was a disconnection issue, and then he can just carry on. Yep, it looks like he's able to keep on racing. Zulkarnain is got clear track. He's got a back marker behind him, so he's not really pressured. He's got a little bit of drifting. Okay, Tokarev is now 5.2 seconds behind Hakimi. He is reeling him in. I was not anticipating he was, at this rate, he's going to catch him with 25 minutes left in the race. I was thinking that maybe 10 to 15 minutes is what he needed to apply pressure. If he could apply 10 solid minutes of pressure with fresher tires, he can make it happen. If he can apply 20 to 25 minutes of pressure, that is going to really suit him well. If you don't mind, let's get the oh, we got a yellow flag in sector 1. If we could get the gear data and stuff like that, I'd be fascinated to see an onboard lap with Tokarev. Okay, here we go. Gear 4 coming out of turn 3. He's going to 200 kilometers per hour. His RPMs are going pretty well. Okay, he hits a little bit of the curb. Now we're going down into turn 7, the Scheivlak. As he now starts descending down the hill to turn 8, he goes down to gear 4. He's trying to hold it. Turn 9 is wide to narrow. Down to gear 2. He makes it happen, and then we get to one of our 4 left-hand turns. Turn 10, cm.com corner, the sponsor for the track. He holds it through turn 10, touches the curb on the outside a little bit. No, he doesn't touch it. Now back up. He's trying to go as high of a gear as possible. Gear 5, and now he slams down the Hans Ernst S. Turn 11 and 12. He does not go down to gear 1. Earlier, we had Hakimi going down into gear 1. Oh, so Tokarev hit the curb, now down in the turn 13, trying to hold it. Then up into the 18 degrees of camber for the area line dike corner. Up to gear 5, trying to get the fast speed. Going over 230, 240. The speed trap during qualifying was up to 260. He went to 258 before he hit his braking. And he has now cut the lead down to 4.5 seconds. He is reeling in Hakimi. It's fascinating because Mkhitaryan is 8 seconds behind Etchenko. So he's losing time or keeping time, whereas Tokarev is gaining time. So whatever the strategy Mkhitaryan was doing with his tires, he's now starting to hit his plateau. According to our stats, he is 0.6 seconds faster. He should be reeling him in. So this is why I'm surprised for now 2 laps in a row, he has not gained as much time as Tokarev, because they were around the same amount of time that they're gaining. And like I said, Tokarev is 3.6 seconds behind, but Mkhitaryan is 6.9. Interesting indeed. Let's go on board with Mkhitaryan so we can see his gears with the LMP car. Okay, here we go. We're coming through into second gear. This is our turn 10 left-hander. As he is got a little bit of oversteer. He's going up to 107, 180, 190, up to 200 kilometers per hour as he prepares for the Hans Ernst S. Turn 11, 90 degrees, and swoop back 180 to turn 12. Oh, interesting. He goes out, but as you notice, the Cup cars went all the way to the curb, and some of them touched the grass. He was able to maintain a tighter line, sets up for turn 13. Out wide into turn 14, the area line dike final corner. He hugs it, come over the little crest, and now down the straight, gear 6, the speed trap. So 267 kilometers per hour, whereas Tokarev was 10 kilometers slower down that same straight. He's got 5.0 seconds down into turn 3. Into the Hugenholtz corner. He tries to go wide. You want to go? Oh no! He's in the wall! Oh no, Mkhitaryan! He messed it up at Hugenholtz. It looks like he's lost his rear wing. That is going to ruin his race. He was trying to catch up. We've got code 18 coming out. We had Mkhitaryan, who was trying to reel in the racers. He had led the race for so long. He makes a mistake in the Hugenholtz into the 19 degrees banked corner, and that is going to be his race down the drain. It is very unlikely the other racers are going to feel any pressure anymore and lose time. This is so unfortunate. Mkhitaryan, he was dominating the race. He was able to take the pit stops that he wanted to, and a simple lapse of judgment, a simple mistake has cost him dearly. That means Bezrukov is our leader. He is for Team Phoenix. Oh, no, excuse me. Bunovic is for Team Phoenix. Bezrukov, I can't remember what team he is for, but he is our race leader. Behind him, Mkhitaryan is 41 seconds. This is going to elevate Ekshchenko back up at the P2. This is going to put Bunovic into the final podium position. The problem is Ekshchenko is not able to attack Bezrukov. It was Mkhitaryan who was going to be able to apply that pressure, and with that mistake, Bezrukov can pretty much limp his way to the end. Or not limp his way. He can manage himself because he's probably not taking any damage. Oh, boy. That is just so sad to see that. There's other cars coming into the pits and out of the pits. So sad for Mkhitaryan. We have another car in the pits, Treshev. We have our Darkwing into the pits, Chernobyl, number 23. Oh, this is so sad to see. The advantage is it's a code 80, which 10 seconds and we're going green. So he didn't lose all of his time, but it's going to really hurt. We want to shoot over to Tokarev, who is now down to 1.6 seconds behind the race leader. This code 80, he was able to get close before the slowdown. He is now, with, like I said, he was going to be able to attack with roughly 25 minutes left. And even though that code 80 slowed him down a little bit, he is now close enough. In 1.5 minutes, he is going to be right on the bumper of Hakimi. Hakimi has dominated the race, controlled the pace for so long. He has, in my opinion, some questionable tactics, but it's within his right to choose how he drives, and it's the guy behind who has to get alongside. And they have not been able to do that. No car, Pafay from France or Tokarev from Russia, has been able to deal with Hakimi from Malaysia. This is a car 42, Mkhitaryan did not slow properly under the C80. We saw him potentially passing some of the Porsche cars. Maybe that penalty is the salt on his wound. I'm so sorry, Mkhitaryan. He's having to serve the penalty in the pits. Oh, we have a lockup. We're on board with Gaifulin in P6. Trying to deal with what might be a back marker. I'm not quite sure. Here we have, through our Hugenholtz, the banked corner 3. Tokarev is at 1.2, but now he has not been gaining his time. It's interesting. Apparently the C80, he was in a groove. He was in the zone, and then the C80 came out, and it pretty much nullified whatever momentum he had. It could also be that he is trying to bide his time and not attack immediately, right? So slowly reel in Hakimi. He's now within 1 second. This is going to decide the race. If Hakimi continues what he did in the past, he's going to start locking up in certain corners. Tokarev has to know this. He has to have seen all the corners that he locks up in. If Tokarev makes a mistake like Pafay did early on in the race, his race is donezo. This is an all-or-nothing strategy, and he has to trust that he has fresher tires, that he went long, the overcut. He has to trust that his pace is superior, not just enough to catch, but to pass. But it's harder to pass than to catch. And now Tokarev needs to use this wisely. He doesn't really get slipstream because of the Porsche cars and how they're built, which means that he's got to use the extra grip. Turn 11, turn 12, he's got the grip. Let's see. Okay, as you can see how Hakimi went all the way out to the curb where Tokarev did not. So Tokarev is really trying to figure out where he can get the grip. Here's the double right. I said if a car was going to pass Hakimi, the only way they're going to pass him is on a double right-hand corner. Here we go, down the straight. Hakimi's going to hold off the inside, and I'm going to guarantee that he is going to lock up in this corner. There we go. That's what he always does. He locks up to defend it, and then it forces the car behind the brake. This is, I don't know. Maybe it's a black and white flag because he's clearly driving in such a way that slows the other cars down. He's not driving natural. But on the other hand, this is what you call defensive driving. Okay, here we go. Tokarev. He's watching a yellow flag in Sector 2. This is going to affect this battle that's going on right here. Well, no, this battle's in Sector 1, about to start into Sector 2. The yellow flag's gone. Okay, Tokarev. I doubt he's going to be able to, but that's the place right here. In this Sector 2 is where he has to pass. That's the only place he's going to pass Hakimi. Hakimi is probably going to lock up into turn 11. He always did it in the past. He hasn't done it here, but when the pressure comes, he'll probably start doing it again because you can't pass him to turn 10 unless like you do some switcheroo and watch. He's going to give you a left. Don't go left. Tokarev, do not go left. If you go left, he's going to be able to cover you off. Unless you think by going left, you can force him narrow. Maybe force him narrow. Oh, he's trying to force him narrow into turn 11 so that he's able to do the switch back on turn 12. Can he make it? Can he force Hakimi in the mistake? Nope. So that's the thing. Hakimi always stays on the curb. He never goes off into the grass. And so then Tokarev is not able to get on the inside of turn 13 and 14. The only place, based off of what we've seen the entire race, and you have to remember, Tokarev has fresher tires that are now getting compromised because he has to keep braking down in the Tarzan. Watch. He's going to lock up, and then, okay. Oh, interesting. So Tokarev let the LMP3 go. Does this compromise? It does not compromise Hakimi. If only Tokarev had been able to capitalize on this so that he could go up on the inside and take it. He takes the inside. He's going on the inside. Can he maintain? Can he be alongside? Now that he's alongside, he cannot. Man, so Hakimi always takes the high road coming out of Bugenholz. And if he was alongside, he could force him through turns 4 and 5. This is the place. This right here is the only place you're going to be able to pass Hakimi. You have to pass him on these triple right-handers. He's going to lock up into turn 9 because he doesn't want you to pass him in turn 10. He always breaks late here. Watch. He's going to break late. We're going for the switchback. Can he make the switchback work? He doesn't have a problem giving you the inside because it's not the inside for turn 10. And you can't make the switchback work because turn 10 is now the outside for turn 11. Hakimi knows his track and he knows where to lock up so you can't dive bomb him and go up the inside. Tokarev is going to not be able to get the race lead unless he can force Hakimi into a mistake here. And this is the prime place to make a mistake. Coming out of this corner, if Hakimi ever touches that grass instead of the curb, he will then be able to come alongside him into turn 13 and then into the cambered turn 14. Hakimi, that's the crazy thing. You have to realize that Tokarev was gaining seconds, about 0.6 a second a lap. And now that he's behind him with fresher tires, he went the long cut, he cannot do a single thing. Watch, here comes the lockup, as he always does. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. Because he's trying to cover off the inside, knowing that if you do go to the outside, that he can then deal with you in the cambered turn 3. So what does Tokarev do? He comes wide, and he needs to stay wide. I know people want to go on the inside to get alongside, but you can't because he strains up. He touches the grass. You need to stay wide with Hakimi so you can have the straight line speed, and then put the pressure on him down into turns 7, 8, and 9. As you can see, Tokarev can always get close here, but he can never get alongside because watch, as we go from this 90-degree turn 8, Hakimi will always lock up into turn 9. Watch. He's trying to hold off the apex so that you can't get alongside. Now, what Tokarev should do is surprise him with a lunge. I know he's going on the outside, but what he really should do is lunge on the inside. If he could lunge and catch Hakimi off into turn 10, that's what he might need. That's maybe what he needs to do. He needs to lunge into turn 10. It'll cause Hakimi to bounce a little bit. It'll catch his traction. And then Tokarev could then be ahead at turn 11 and turn 12. It is masterclass driving by Hakimi where he knows that you cannot pass him. Even with fresher tires, even with a faster car, he can catch, but he cannot pass. Now we go down for the final straight, or the start straight with 18 minutes to go. And you're going to see here again, Hakimi is going to lock up. He likes to lock up to cover off the inside. And, oh, he did not there. Okay, so he did not feel the pressure as much. Tokarev, he's trying to put pressure, but the problem is he can never get alongside. No car could ever get alongside Hakimi. Down into here, watch. He's going to try to convince people to go on the inside. Do not do it. If you go alongside, he always shoves the door. See, he knows that he can do it. He gets you to come inside so he can then close the door down the straight. You have to be behind him so you get the top end speed and then pull aside when you go into this corner. If you can really get alongside and then attack into 7, 8, and 9. But I don't think the drivers really want to do it. They must think that the high-speed corners of 4 and 5 are too scary to go side by side. Okay, watch. Hakimi will give you the outside, knowing you can't switch him back on the inside. And if you switch him back on the inside, he will cover you off in the turn 11. You have to do something different. You have to do something different. Okay, Hakimi. Watch what he'll do. He'll probably... Okay, so he wasn't close enough to put pressure. Hakimi was able to take the normal line, which means that he's going to be able to stay clear of any mistake on the exit of turn 12. Yep, Hakimi's got to figure it out. There's really nothing Tokarev can do unless he can force him into a mistake, and he has yet to be able to do that. Hakimi knows that he's got the slower car, but he's got better track position on this track. You just cannot pass even with fresher tires because you cannot get the traction that's necessary to go out. Oh, I guess I didn't notice this. Steneker has DNF'd for the LMP cars. Thank you for racing with us. Sorry you weren't able to finish the race. We've got 16 minutes to go. We've got 6 LMP cars on track and 10 Cup cars, unless there's ones beyond 10 and they only show the top 10. The Cup cars are going well. Tokarev has been having this battle for 10 minutes now. 10 minutes he's been trying to attack the leader. I told in my earlier procrastination is that he would need a solid 10 minutes to apply the pressure. He caught him with 25 minutes, and it looks like he's going to apply 25 minutes of pressure. But could he finally, after 10 minutes of pressure, get past him and then get clean air? He is close, he is close, he is close. But like I said, Hakimi knows where to place the car. Hakimi will always let you have the look up the inside when it's turning into the other corner, because then you're no longer the inside. You can't make a pass on a switchback at this track. Okay, Tokarev. What Tokarev really needs to do is he needs to allow this LMP car to compromise Hakimi down into Tarzan. That's really what it needs to do. Look at that gap. Look at that gap. This is what he needs to do. Tokarev needs to hope that this LMP car is going to... This is a Shenko. This is P2. He needs a Shenko to compromise Hakimi into this section. Can he do it? Can he do it? They're going side by side. They're about to go into turn 3. He gets past, and the problem is Tokarev is so far behind he can't capitalize on this. Oh, look at that. Normally Hakimi goes wide, and then he started getting a little bit of understeer on that corner. Excuse me, understeer, because he was catching. Yeah. Okay, Tokarev was not able to capitalize with the LMP. At this point, that's really the only thing that's going to allow him to pass, is he has to allow an LMP car to get in the fight. Like I think, right here, turn 10, he needs to dive up the inside. Right here. Don't go wide to narrow. Just dive up the inside. The problem is Hakimi will go up the inside and cover it off. Maybe. The problem is if you dive up the inside in turn 11, so it's a 90-degree corner. If you could really dive up the inside, he is so compromised going to the next corner, but you are as well. So tricky. Yep. I think Hakimi for the next 13 laps is going to endure the pressure like he did at the first stint of the race. He did it against Buffet. He's doing it against Tokarev. He's doing it once more with Tokarev having much fresher tires. And as you can see, well, okay, what is Hakimi doing? It looks like he was weaving a little bit on the straight. He went right and then back left. And there's that lockup, the telltale lockup. And he always lets the guy down the inside so that you can have better traction outside. And no one can capitalize on these lockups. Hakimi always puts the tire life at risk in places that he can't actually lose position in. I know, you want to go alongside, and he always closes the door. See, look, see how he always gets better traction out of the corner? Do not go up the inside, Tokarev. You going up the inside does not gain you anything. You have to take the high road so that you can then put pressure down into 7. That's the only place you're going to pass him is down here in 7, 8, and 9, the triple right-hander. Any place else, he will give you the outside knowing that he has the inside for the next corner. You are having to resist the bait he gives you. He always wants you to go. Here's the lockup. He likes to do it. You're on the inside, and then you're on the outside. This is the best he's been. Alongside. Stay around. If you can stay around the outside, you force him. No. You had to stay around the outside because now he has the inside for turn 11. He locked up and gave you the one opportunity that you could have. Tokarev is taking it in stride, but not capitalizing. Here's another lockup. Mika Hakimi's tires are starting to wear away. The pressure is starting to get to him. It's been over 10 full minutes of pressure, and Hakimi is starting to do lockups. Another 12 minutes of lockups. Maybe Tokarev can get an advantage. Oh, and he almost went out. See, that's the problem. You're so close to the guy in front. Eventually, you start losing concentration with your dirty air. This battle can go on for the next 10 minutes, and Mika Hakimi is going to probably win it, barring any major mistake. And he has not made a mistake all race. I would say he did make mistakes earlier when it came to causing Pafay's crash, but that would have to be investigated. I don't want to say one way or the other, but his defensive driving caught off Pafay, and Tokarev has been a little bit more careful with it. Pafay was just so much faster. He was on the bumper so much more. Tokarev can't get on the bumper. The way he drives doesn't allow him to catch up to Tokarev in the right places. My hypothesis still stands. He has to attack in 7, 8, and 9 and then dive up the inside on 10. That's what he has to do. He couldn't hang it out on the outside of turn 10 last lap, and it cost him. If he had only been able to commit to it, he would have then been on the inside and controlled it. Okay, here we go, turn 10. There's always that temptation to go on the inside. Don't do it. You need to either dive bomb him on turn 10, or try to get on the inside and dive him in turn 11. But he won't ever let you do it because you're too far back. That lunge would not work. And so I feel like a lot of drivers try to hope on this section right here. But the Porsche doesn't get any slipstream. That's the problem. If the Porsche would get the slipstream that the LMP car would do, then he could actually put pressure on him down in the Tarzan. But he can't. And that means that this track just does not allow enough grip variation with the tires to allow Porsches to actually have a battle for the lead. Whereas the LMP cars could, but then they would do their own little strategies, and we had difficulties with the P2 trying to catch P1 earlier in the race. So it just does go to show why Formula One racing has their GRS system, because they don't like having a guy hold up another car for 40 minutes. But here we go. Okay, this is the back marker we were looking for. Do not go on the inside, Tokarev. Do not. Okay, well, he had to because of that. Does that cause enough of a gap? No. That guy could have caused what was needed for Tokarev to catch Hakimi. Now we have coming out of the turn 3 is Bunovic and Ashenko. This is for the... Wait, no. Smirnov. I was about to say. Smirnov and Mkhitaryan. If these two are racing hard and they can catch our cup leaders, then that could put into play. What Tokarev has to hope is that they catch him on a favorable place and then log jam Hakimi into turns 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's where if they jam him anywhere else, he'll probably recover. He is almost alongside. What happened? We didn't quite see. He's almost alongside. If he can squeeze him, he can squeeze him. Like I said, Hakimi is very fine with you getting alongside out of turn 10 because you can't pass him to turn 11. The only way is to dive up on turn 10. That's what he has to do. He's applying the pressure. If he could get alongside or inside on these corners and then try to force him into Tarzan. But like I said, you can't really pass in a Porsche car on this part of the lap. You just can't. Okay, here come the LMP cars in the background. Like I said, what Tokarev needs is for them to pass him on a straight and to pass Hakimi in the corners. That's really what he needs to happen. Here comes Mkhitaryan. He's trying to find the spot to pass Smirnov. This is for P4. He goes inside. As you can see, with the LMP cars, you can go up the inside and have enough traction to go alongside, but you can't do it with the Cup cars. They don't have the downforce needed. See how Mkhitaryan, oh, there's contact. See how Mkhitaryan was able to go alongside? The Cup cars cannot do that with their grip levels. Mkhitaryan almost made that. Novar has DNF'd. So sorry, Novar. DNFing from 5th position. Thank you for racing with us. I'm so sorry. Here is the worst nightmare for Tokarev. Tokarev is going to have to let these guys pass in this section. What he really needs to do is have them pass where it compromises Smirnov. Mkhitaryan is going to go around the outside because there's traffic. He's trying to do it. And if Mkhitaryan can stay on the inside, he's going to pass. Yep, he makes the pass. And now this is where Tokarev is going to be. He's going to be, okay. Okay, he was able to not get past down that section. We're now 2 wide. This is what Tokarev was hoping for, is that he wouldn't be in compromise. The problem is, depending on where Mkhitaryan passes him, it's going to really compromise. There is bumping and barging, forward and backward, going into turn 14, the cambered corner, Aaron Lindike corner, and what do you know? Mkhitaryan is going to pass on the straight, and it's not going to advantage Kolev is DNF. Now, on the inside, this is what he's looking for. Tokarev was hoping for this, but then he also gets lunged by the other LMP car. That's what he did not want to happen. He did not want to be compromised. He wanted the LMP cars to pass in a place that would catch Hakimi off. This is the one place. This has to be the place where he can try to catch. Pass through behind the LMP car when the LMP car goes side by side through turns 4 and 5. You have to be behind that LMP car. I know you're behind the Porsche, but you had to be behind the LMP car. Can you make it? Go on the inside. This is the place. I was telling, no, you had to stick to it. You had to be on the inside of these triple turns. Hakimi has won the race. Hakimi has been able to fend off and survive, and he will win the race. Tokarev's only shot was to be on the inside of turn 7, and he was not. He is going to withstand once more. Hakimi, masterful defending, even with traffic. Hakimi is probably going to win. Kolev from 3rd position is going to lose the podium spot. If only he could have lasted 5 more minutes. So unfortunate. Congratulations, Kolev, for racing so well. I'm so sorry it had to end like this. Tokarev is not going to be able to win this race. All the things that came Hakimi's way, Hakimi just was not able to get compromised. Tokarev had to follow that LMP3 car through the exit of turn 3. Like I said, Hakimi has no problem locking up his car because you can't get past in those places that he locks up. And apparently the tires do not fall off enough for him to get penalized for locking up his tires. He locks up his tires every single lap on like 4 of the 10 corners, and his tires aren't falling off. He's not made any major mistakes. It's not like he's slipping around. And so this really goes to show that he can just do whatever he wants. You can catch him, but you can't pass him. For 20 full minutes, he goes a little bit wide. He goes a little bit. He catches. Can they be side? No. Okay, so here goes. Hakimi will make all the dumb things in the turn 3, knowing that you'll get lured into going the inside. You can't. You just have to go. You have to. Don't go the outside. You have to go up the inside in this section. This is the only place to catch Hakimi. You have to dive bomb him like, well, this is a 90-degree corner. You can't dive bomb him here. So you have to dive bomb him in turn 9, but he always locks up. Means he breaks late in turn 9, knowing that you can't dive bomb him here. Hakimi just knows the track way too well. Tokarev is just not able to do it. No. I know you want to go around the outside. Are you going to hold the outside? No, you're not going to hold the outside, and you'll try to switch back. He knows it. No, you have to hold out the outside. Being alongside doesn't matter in the turn 11. Switch back. Maybe switch over to the right-hand side and dive bomb when he thinks you're going this way. It doesn't matter that you're alongside. He will always close the door. It doesn't matter. You have to do something different. You got 4 minutes left, Tokarov. You got 4 minutes left. You've been doing the same thing for 50 minutes worth of racing in 2 different stints. You have to do something different. in 3 last minutes. This is where your tire advantage is supposed to come in. But the problem is he keeps locking up and keeps slowing you down. If your tire advantage cannot do anything in the last 4 minutes, you will have to settle for second place and hope that the next day, the next race, you will be ahead of him on track, because clearly you are faster. You are faster, but he is smarter. Here we go with 3 laps left. Oh, it's actually probably 2 laps left because it's a minute 36. So we're going to say there's probably 2 laps left with Hakimi and Tokarev in this battle. If he doesn't pass him on this lap, he's got one last opportunity. Like I said, as we've been seeing, he wants to lull you into the inside of turn 3. Do not do it. He wants to cover you off into turn 8 and 9. Don't go around the outside on turn 10. Do not do it. Follow him through the inside of turn 10 and force him to go wide, or force him to go narrow so that you can then get on the inside of turn 11. That's the only place you're going to be able to pass him. If you could dive bomb in the turn. Okay, he had his first little lockup. Hakimi had a little bit of lockup. Here comes another LMP. This is the last opportunity. This is the last opportunity. If that LMP car goes on the inside, no, Tokarev, don't let him do this. Tokarev, don't let him do this. Tokarev, you should have let him go up the inside. Let him go up the inside. Yes, this is your only shot. This Tokarev, you have to follow him through. There's contact! There's contact! He's into the gravel! He's in the gravel! He caused it! That's an unsafe re-entry by Hakimi. Now, this is the one opportunity by Tokarev. Tokarev is on the inside. He has to get ahead on turn 13. This is what he's been waiting for 2 long hours. Tokarev has finally allowed an LMP car to get on the inside of the corner, like I've been saying. Now, Hakimi, who has been waiting, now has to be the attacker. Tokarev, 1 minute 53. This is probably the last lap when the leader passes. Now, how does Tokarev defend? Of course, Hakimi's going to lock up, which isn't going to help him, but he's going to lock up to try to get better traction out of the corner. But here we go. Like we said, that locking up was all defensive. Tokarev can now start pulling away with his superior tires. That was the moment he was waiting for. This is now where he can go wide. Do you see how Tokarev goes much wider on here? Oh, no, what happened? Hakimi got a snap of oversteer, trying to go wide. His tires are really starting to ache and pain. This has gone away from Hakimi. He defended perfectly through everything that happened. And then when the LMP car caught him at the one place, it wasn't 2 LMP cars, it was 1. When the one came and caught him in the place that would disadvantage him at turn 11, that's when he gave up the lead. Other than that, he has drived, maybe you might say a little bit, too bargy. He starts sliding. His tires are gone. Oh, no! Hakimi's tires have gone. His tires have gone. The fortunate thing is every other car is 2 laps down. He just has to finish this lap. When the timer hits 0, Buzrakov, who's probably going to win this race, will then finish his last lap. He's coming around. Yeah, it's 30 seconds. It's going to be tricky. This is turn 7, 8, and 9. He's probably going to reach the line before he hits 0. Now, if Buzrakov is smart, he will slow down really slow into this last sector so that he hits the line after 0. If he does that, then Hakimi, who's now 10 seconds behind Tokarev, will limp to the finish line. Okay, we got 10 seconds left. Is Buzrakov, he's slowing down. He's going to gear 2. Yep. He's doing his little victory lap. Okay, yep. Buzrakov was smart. He says, I do not want to do an extra lap. It's been a long 2 hours. I want to be able to take this nice victory. And Mkhitaryan, who's 2 laps down, though, was able to recover the 4th place. Sashenko, who looks like he'll be in 3rd place. And there is our winner of LMP3 at Zandvoort, Buzrakov. Congratulations on being able to get that victory. And then we've got our cup cars that are all scrapping. Oh no, we have someone off in the dust trying to deal with it. Oh boy, this is the battle for 8th. 3 laps down, but they still get tons of points. We got Lewe, we got Kors. This is the last lap. Is someone going to send it up the inside? Yes, he does! Turn 11 to turn 12. He's like, I'm going to dive as brake late as long as possible. And you saw him trying to correct that snap of oversteer. We've got the cars really fighting. Going into turn 13, turn 14. We have an LMP car on the inside. This could cause havoc coming into the bank corner, turn 14. If he disrupts him, nope, it is fine. Let's look at Tokarev, who should be our race winner. We've got then Hakimi, Chernobrov, Zulkarnain, Nokoroshkov, Gaifulin, Kors, Lewang, Putsotsukov. Congratulations. What beautiful driving. You guys have endured Zandvoort's 2-hour-long endurance race. Wow, what a finish. It all came down to the tires. Okay, we're going to wait for the drivers to pull off their cars, and they're going to come in, and we're going to interview our podium places. Here we are, the closure to the Zandvoort race, number one in our endurance series, and being able to interview our podium finishers, starting with the Cup Series. P2 goes to Mika Hakimi. Wow, you were leading, you were fighting, you were defending, you were doing so much. What was your strategy? What was the place that you felt like you were most vulnerable that you had to defend the most?
I mean, anywhere around the track really, because I feel I think the BSR guys in the Cup car today, we kind of went the wrong direction a bit with the setup because we were having like 4.8% tire wear a lap, which means, like no, like not even halfway through the stint, the tires like already down to like 40-50%. So I had to
Hmm.
like back off like massively the entire stint to just, save the tires. In the first half of the race, I was, pushing just to, maintain, and it was, really killing me towards the end of the stint. Hence why I pitted a bit earlier as well. And then when I passed Vlad while he was still pitting, I saw that I had a 24-second gap. And I just really like backed off as much as I could because I knew that he had fresher tires. He was going to catch anyway, and I was struggling with tire wear regardless on my setup. So I felt like the best thing for me to do was okay, just let him come to me towards the end of the race, and then just defend as much as I could throughout every single corner on the track. I knew the track pretty well. I knew where I could place my car so that he wouldn't get the run on me in any corner, and it worked. And I felt like it would have worked, even if my tires were down to zero. As it was quite near zero with 2 laps remaining anyway. But I felt like it was slightly unfair from the P3 because I saw that he went to the inside, so I braked a bit earlier to let him by, and then I still left a bit of room, and then I was still a bit like pushed off onto the gravel, and then eventually Vlad passed me then. But overall, it was actually a pretty good race. I mean, I felt like I was never really given a moment to rest, so it was really fun. And I rewatched a few minutes of the live stream, and I saw that your commentary was actually very good, Jean. I loved it. It's because especially with sim racing nowadays, it's hard to keep people engaged, and I felt like the analysis you brought and how you commentated on things was like really really good. So
Oh,
really looking forward to racing here some more. P2 is still good, means I'm
mhm.
still in a good position for the championship, and as soon as we get our tire wear sorted out, I think we'll be in a good position to start challenging for wins. But I must say Vlad drove very good today.
Indeed. Well, thank you for that. The last thing I'll think about is um, I believe Pavel was, or Paffet, excuse me, the French driver who ended up DNFing. He was attacking you early on the race. Do you remember the moment where I think it was coming out of turn three or something? He eventually spun out, but it was bad with the camera angle. Do you think he actually made contact? Did you feel anything, or was it more of him just overcorrecting because he caught up to your bumper too quick?
I think, cause I noticed, so like, I think when I drive, I really look at my opponents, a lot more than I think other drivers would. And what I noticed with him was that he was a bit, aggressive when you didn't need to be. Cause like if you looked at how Vlad was composed, when he was 5 seconds behind, 3 seconds behind, and when he was like a tenth behind, he just didn't make a lot of erratic moves. But I felt like Pavel maybe he was moving around quite a lot, and when you do that, when the tires are quite worn down in a high speed downhill right hander, it's very easy to spin. And if I'm not mistaken, he had a P3 that was about to pass him as well, an LMP3 that
Mm,
was right up behind him. And I noticed that at the banking corner and also first corner Tarzan, that Pavel was being quite aggressive. And when I saw that the P3 was coming to lap, I didn't attack that downhill right hander as much as I could, just to sort of like back him up into the P3 a bit. And he was already spinning before they made contact, I think. So I guess if he was a bit wiser, looked around a bit more, I think he would have
mm.
been able to still fight. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like that.
Yep. Well, thank you for your analysis and thank you for your kind words. At first, I was trying to comment on you, and it was like, it's a little sus how he's defending. But then the more I watched, the more I realized, oh, you just knew the best place to defend, and they just had to deal with it. So good defending. Like you said, it all came down to the penultimate lap when that LMP3 car came up the inside. Because every other time there were people passing you or the guy behind you, there was always two of them. But this time,
Yeah.
the one guy caught you instead of the guy behind, and so it really did catch you off. But other than that, you drove as good as you could. Congratulations for your P2, getting, I
Thank
believe,
you.
25 points.
Yeah,
Now
thank you.
over
Thank you.
to Vlad Tokarev. Here you are, getting P1, getting 30 points. And boy, oh boy, you had to attack Hakimi what felt for at least 50 minutes in this 2-hour race, right? You did it in one stint, then you did it on the second stint. Tell us, he already spoke a little bit about the tire strategy. What was that like for you?
My English is quite shit, but I will try my best. First of all, I want to congratulate Mika. He did a good job with low wing. He struggling. Maybe half of the race. But I'm struggling on this race, so I'm pushing all the race behind him. But luckily at the end, I have an opportunity, but with some contact. Don't know I will have penalty for this or not.
But you drove well and you stayed composed. Congratulations on trying to do that overcut. I think having those fresh tires, and then like Hakimi said, he was slowing down a little bit to manage his tires. You were pushing, and then it finally came to the point where you were able to attack. And I originally thought you were going to have 15 minutes left to attack. You got 25 minutes. You put pressure on him for 25 full minutes. You were like, I've got you, I've got you, I've got you. So good on you for staying composed, because you could have made a mistake and bend it. Even though you had fresher tires, but you were able to stay composed till literally the last 90 seconds. So congrats.
Thank you.
I see. B3, Pavel Shinobarov. Okay, so I will have to admit, because you were never a part of the battle at the front, I don't remember a lot that happened during the race. So just describe for everyone listening, what was your race strategy? At what point did you feel like, oh man, a podium's on the cards?
My plan was one pit stop. I just drive and let me pass all LMPs and GTs also. And second stint, I see code 80. Decide to use it only for fresh tires. And go push 2 seconds each lap. Maybe this helped me. I don't know. I was surprised. I was third at finish.
Well, good thing. To get points, you got to finish high, and like you said, you took advantage of those C80s. So congrats on that. And then any takeaways? How do you feel that this sets the trajectory for the next 3 races? Are you going to be able to, you think, get on the podium again?
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on if you stay consistent and don't disconnect, right? That's the secret sauce to
Yes,
racing
yes.
endurance.
My strategy was to not fast laps, but consistent driving. No spinning, no crashes, and I did it.
Good job indeed. And
Thank
I
you.
believe it's 21 points for third place. So nice
Great.
haul of points. Well, thank you, gentlemen, again for your cup podium. Okay. Nikolai Buzrikov. So there was some drama early on the race with the LMP3s, right? You had the guys attacking each other. You had some damage. You had some spin, people going into the pits. Where were you in all of this strategy coming out of qualifying, realizing that you weren't as high as you thought you were going to be right off the bat?
First of all, thanks all drivers, all admins of a champ for a good organization. And actually, I didn't even plan to participate in the champ. But when Max Bunovich said to me that he wanted to drive and he asked me to make a livery. So I decided that if I make a livery, I'll race too, just because, anyway. And recently I took a little break from sim racing for some weeks, and in last months I may be not a very practical driver and only race maybe one event a weekend a week. And after all of that, I just asked Max to give me a setup for the car, and decided just to go directly to the race without any solid practice. So I didn't even think that fourth place in qualifying was possible, because there was such like no practice at all, and it's nice result. After the race started, first of all, we had some very strange incident at the start-finish line, because I have Amer Hazik in front of me, and somehow he just didn't accelerate. I don't know why. When I took him a little, somebody strongly punted me from behind. And when I decided just to try to avoid all additional contacts, additional damages, and make a clear, good race.
You're like, oh yeah, finish. Yep.
No, you can tell.
Oh yeah, it's like you had all your drama in the first, even before the race kind of even began, right? And you're like, okay, enough of that. We're done for the rest of the race. We're just gonna be
Yes, kind of so.
peaceful.
And actually, I was astonished during first 20 or 30 minutes, because all cars around me somehow drive like it's not 2 hour race, but 2 minutes maybe. And it was really tough racing all over the place. So my tactics was just to wait until they all crashed, and most of them crashed. Also, I didn't think that it is possible to make one pit stop race in LMP3, but actually I found somehow that my first pit stop, and the only one, was I believe exactly 1 hour behind the finish. So after this, I was pretty sure that I will win, just because I won't pit again, and I win.
Wow, that's a good point, because I believe going into here, the information I had is that the LMP3 might have to pit a 2-stop, and so the fact that you were able to do a 1-stop and have a good setup really sets you up in the second half of the race. So good job
Yeah,
indeed.
it was rather calm and relaxing race. I just saved my fuel and didn't fight anyone. It was even it was 2 hours long. I don't even sweaty now.
Oh, well, I'm glad, because I could tell it was 2 hours because my voice started going, but at least you had fun for the entirety of the 2 hours. I had fun watching all that happened, and that means that you get 30 points. How do you feel like this momentum will go on? Because it seems that Team Phoenix had really good setup for qualifying, and that means that you guys probably could have an advantage for the next race. Have you already given thought about what your prospects might be?
Actually, I wonder this is the setup thing. I just think that Max is really fast guy, just like another Max, but he lost it in another places.
So, well, thank you again, gentlemen, and that is our LMP3 interviews for the podium. Congratulations to all 3 of our drivers.
Thank you.
Thank you again, anyone who's tuning in. Next race, round 2 of 4, will be in 2 weeks on Sunday. Let me double check. That's May 5, right? Yep. Sunday, May 5, same time, same place, same